Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. That's a lot of repetitive words right there. How are you tonight, guys? Today, whatever this is. Hope you're well. I'm all right. Did not get as much sleep as I was hoping to. Got a little one coming over today. We're going to hang out for a couple of hours. So I went to sleep last night, and my body was like, "That's enough." So like, okay, I guess. And here we are. So how's everybody else doing? How'd you guys sleep? I'll grab a nap after she goes home, but until then, I'm good. Um, and since I had nothing else I really wanted to talk about, it gave me a chance to revisit Candace Owens, which I wanted to do a week ago. Talk to Jack about this after one of the shows. I'm like, did you see the new Candace Owens video? Nuts, thank you so much for becoming a member again. That's month number 2. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I really do appreciate it. This goes back to the Andrew Tate stuff. So we watched the video. We watched her video where she basically sucked off Tate repeatedly. And after this, she decides to go after one of the Tate accusers. The Tate accuser who was accused seven men of kidnapping, I believe is the exact terminology that Andrew Tate used. And oh, it's such a bad video. It's so bad. And I was like, we got to respond to this. And I keep putting it off. And then Milk Bar TV does it for me. And we're going to be taking a look at Milk Bar's video today. Milk Bar TV is linked in the description. But as always, I have stuff I want to add and emphasis I need to put on certain aspects of this. I don't know that we'll be watching the whole 20-minute video. Like I said, it's linked in the description. So check that out. Corey, thank you so much. He says, nice to have a monkey in the morning in the actual morning. It's always in the actual morning, just not necessarily for you. Remember, it's always morning somewhere. YouTube actually told me you live, probably because I'm shitting on Candace Owens. Because this woman is fucking horrible. All right, look, you guys can defend the Tates all you want to, okay? Some things that you say are stupid, but defend them if you believe in them. Fine, whatever. What you probably shouldn't do is protect a child predator in order to do it. And I'm not talking about Andrew Tate when I say that. I'm not accusing Andrew Tate of child predation. That is some there's an investigation going on, but I have no idea where that's at or what the involvement is. It doesn't involve this girl. The girl's name is Emma Gaddy, and her name's been out there for quite a while, so I'm not doxing anybody or anything, but this girl has an interesting history. I'm not going to say that she doesn't. However, Candace takes that and just oh my. Thank you, Camo, for becoming a member. That is month number 2 for you as well. Monkey uses the Jimmy Buffett philosophy of time. It's always morning or 5 o'clock somewhere. That's right. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Good song, by the by. All righty. So, this is a channel called Milk Bar TV. And Milk Bar has been keeping a decent, I say decent, a pretty good eye on this situation. But here he's working with a guy named Murdered by Crayons. Murdered by Crayons is a Twitter channel. I don't know if he has a YouTube channel or not. To be honest, I've never looked it up. But it's the two of them talking. It's mostly Murdered by Crayons talking. And, well, let's just jump into the video, shall we?
I'm underage, and Fisher is still with her. He knows she's underage right here. I'm surprised Candace is actually reading this.
This comes up later. It's one of those previews. This is going to be in the video kind of thing. They just didn't put coming up. I am not shocked. Given what else this bitch does in this video, I am not at all shocked that she left in that the guy complaining that he was trapped by her knew she was underage and was still pumping her.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Well, today I'm going to offer you the most thorough accounting of the exact charges that face the Tate brothers.
She says that, and again, I think this part comes up in this video. I'm going to give you the most thorough account of the charges against the Tate brothers. Not true. Several people have actually just read off the fucking charges, which she hasn't bothered to do. Instead, what she does is just blast this Emma Gabby chick over and over and over and over.
And my belief of why they are going to beat these charges.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Milk Bar TV. Candace
Well,
Owens
Nate.
recently did an interview with Andrew Tate, self-confessed pimp, who's facing criminal charges of rape and human trafficking. It appears that the blowback from this interview was so severe that she felt she needed to justify why she did it. Pretty much she finds herself defending 5 child predators in...
True story. Keldrick, thank you. You started streaming at a good time. I was in the middle of a pretentious film video essay and couldn't pull myself away from it, but you make far better entertainment. Well, thank you for that. And I've been down that rabbit hole. You guys ever do that? You come onto a video and you're like, I can't turn it away. I've been there. Good morning and thank you. Evolved Potato over on the Streamlabs. Guys, don't forget, brought to you by you. Can donate, hit the like button, the thumbs up. Jay, how you doing over there on Rumble? Evolved Potato, thank you. Today I pointed out that you shouldn't call someone evil because they had a different morals in their time, and you putting the morality of today on them. That got into an idiot saying morality doesn't change. What? What does it mean morality doesn't change? It absolutely, never mind. And somehow one person denying the Holocaust. Welcome to the internet, my friend. Welcome to the internet. All right, where are we at here? Yeah, not just one. I only put the one child predator, and I did that on purpose because while he says 5 child predators, and he's, not necessarily wrong about that. There's one that we know 100% is true because the motherfucker's in prison for it. Anyway. And I know some people might put maybe she lied about him. We'll get to that.
An attempt to take down one of Andrew Tate's victims. It's quite shocking and really quite unbelievable. But let's take a look.
And it is important because this is the one that the Tate brothers keep pointing to. Anytime you hear them talk about the one victim, the one accuser, this is who they're talking about. It's Emma Gabby. This is the chick.
Who is Emma Gabby? First, I'll tell you who she is, according to the Tate brothers, who is suing her.
Who is she? Well, let me poison the well by telling you what the 2 guys accused of trafficking her and who are suing her for defamation say. That's a way to go. That's certainly a way to go, Candace.
In Palm Beach County, Florida.
According to the Tate brothers, we're going to tell you who a human trafficking victim is by the 2 guys who have been charged with human trafficking this victim in Romania. Right. So they're going to tell you who this victim is.
According to them, again, if you want to take their word for it.
We don't.
If you want to take their word for it. Well, judging by the fact that you put them first, Candace, I'm guessing you do.
We don't want to take their word for it. As we've already seen in previous videos that you've made, Milk Bar, Tate is a compulsive liar.
And that is true. Going back to the interview that she did with him. Remember the clip where he's like, I didn't deal drugs. And then I dealt drugs. I didn't deal drugs. I dealt drugs. Dude is a compulsive fucking liar. And she doesn't care because she want that Tate sausage. Thank you, Rodline. Like them or not, the Daily Wire crew seems fairly smart. How does Candace pull the wool over all their eyes? It feels like they should know better. My biggest problem is with Candace in this one, besides the fact she's standing up for sexual predators here. This is a woman who went in hard at Steven Crowder over that video of him giving shit to his wife when she's pregnant, right? went in really hard after him. But when it comes to the Tate brothers, one of whom's on film beating a woman with a belt. I mean, it's their kink. That's what she says later after she's crying in the video about it. But she has no problem with the Tate brothers. None. It doesn't matter how much evidence there is. It's just, no, it's fine. If you read, the thorough accounting of the charges against them, she doesn't read the prosecution's text that they have between Andrew and his co-conspirators about the way they treated women. But for some reason with Tate, it's okay. I don't understand that. So, I mean, she's allowed to have her own dumbass opinions. I don't understand how you're allowed to have a dumbass opinion that stands up for a child sexual predator, which she does in this video. She absolutely does. That's not a question. And trust me, it blew my fucking mind when I watched it. How you get away with that on here? How nobody on there questioned her over this? Anyhow, well, I mean, she brings in the money.
Emma Gabby is a predator who has a long history of baiting men into sexual relationships for the specific purpose of destroying their lives. She has a chain of victims going back several years to when she was a minor.
Oh, she said it. She was a minor. These are not guys who were 20 years old or 22 years old. These men are all into their mid-30s and above.
He's about to list them off. Yeah, none of them is younger than 30. These guys, now the time frames for this is when Gabby's between 15 and 17. She's 17 at the oldest. 17 at the oldest. Keep it. And for that first guy, she was 15. The one you see right there says 57. She was 15 to 17. Pay attention to these ages.
Fox was 57. Emma was 15. Dustin Milner was 35 years old. Emma was 17. Tyler Hensel was 35 years old. Emma was 17. Marlon Fisher was 34 years old. Emma was just 1 month out of her 16th birthday. She was 17. Joel Friedman was 39 years old. Emma was 17.
Baiting them. Baiting. It's supposed to be what, half your age plus 7? Not half your age. Fuck. Anyway. I'm going to tell you who Sharon Tate is according to Charles Manson. Fuck, yeah, anyhow.
So what we have here is a group of child predators, guys who are preying on young girls, saying, oh, woe is me. I was set up by this minor. That's what we have here. This is essentially Jeffrey Epstein saying, oh, I was having these underage girls come in and getting massages, but I didn't know they were under the age of 18. Silly me. These are guys who were looking for young women.
And one of them absolutely knew she was underage. We saw that at the beginning. That little clip they give us. He absolutely fucking knew she was underage and still fucked her. Kept up the relationship.
Emma, she looks very young, as you can see. How can a grown man in his mid-30s or older look at this girl and say, oh, yeah, clearly she's overage? The responsibility is the adults to make sure that she's overage. So
now he's going to bring up the well, let's just play.
Let's talk about the law in Florida regarding statutory rape and what this actually means. In Florida, anyone over the age of 24 cannot have sex with someone under the age of 18 years old, even if the person under the age of 18 years old lied about their age. Ignorance is not a defense. Even if they lied about their age, it is.
We've talked about this. We talked about this with Matt Gaetz. There has to be a point where the lie is good enough. I mean, if she presents you with a fake ID, and this has happened in a case where a chick presented a guy with a fake ID, and he's like, oh yeah, she's old enough. And he still ended up going to jail because she was underage. There does need to be a point where, okay, I've done everything I could. What was I supposed to do? Actually go dig up her birth certificate? So he makes this point over and over again, and that's technically true. But if if they did try to find out and she's lied the whole time, that's a little bit different. Different states, different laws. Check your locals. True. But again, I mean, it's true even if the victim has lied to the defendant about their age. There has to be some limit on that. And now, I've said this before too. If you're like, are you old enough? You should probably move on, fellas. You shouldn't be. If you're 59 years old, at 57 as the one guy was, and you're like, is she old enough? No. Period. Move on with your life. Go find somebody who at least looks a little bit older, for fuck's sake. Yeah.
The responsibility of the adult to figure out the true age of the minor. This is the law. If you don't like the law, feel free to go and try to change the law.
And like I said, I think that there should be an exception in there. Okay, you tried. They showed ID. All right. That's on her, not you. But again, if she looks like she's too young, she's too young. All right. If she looks like she's too young, she's too young. Shum says, I got to say this. A friend of mine did 5 years at Leavenworth because a girl with fake ID. She was at a bar drinking, was 17. He was 22. In Florida here, he would have been fine because it's 24. Yeah, it's over 24 that you're going to get in trouble for banging a 17-year-old. Again, but that case there just highlights the problem. I mean, if she's drinking at a bar, I mean, you should at least be able to assume the bar did their due diligence and she's at least 21. But again, she looks young. She's probably young.
Before she ever met a Tate brother, Emma Gabby was a sex worker. She had her own Pornhub account.
No, she didn't.
She could be contacted via a sex hotline. Again.
All right. I want to back that up. Because this is some of the shit that Candace does. You know how she's like, has she got to that part yet? Oh no, there's a part in this video, and I guess I should drop Candace's full video here. We're gonna watch the summation of hers later, but there's a part in here where she's like, these are text messages that are in the court case. I can't independently verify them, of course, I can't. What she's about to do, all of it, she could have independently verified. All of it, and doesn't bother to.
This is the law. If you don't like the law, feel free to go and try to change the law.
Before she ever met a Tate brother, Emma Gabby was a sex worker. She had her own Pornhub account, and she could be contacted via a sex hotline.
Well, before we get into her bullshit, a lot of hookers who go to work for pimps, before they go to work for the pimps, they're already hookers. I guess that means they're not hookers when they work for the pimps, or that the pimp didn't in some way ever, what's the word I'm looking for here? Manipulate them. Good one there, Candace.
Again, that is before she ever met a Tate brother.
All right. In the actual Florida lawsuit, the only thing they mention is social media accounts, and they mention an OnlyFans account.
Now remember, Candace said Pornhub. Not OnlyFans, Pornhub.
Now, Emma's OnlyFans account, she did topless pictures on there, and she eventually shut that down.
And this is after she's old enough, guys.
Because she was not interested in OnlyFans. And what she's showing on the screen right now, 666 Fury, that is an image, a mock-up image that was taken directly from her Instagram account. There is no 666 Fury. That is just an image that she put together with the costume that she had. That doesn't exist. She was not a sex worker in this sense. So
there's no way for Candace to check that out. I mean, there's no way to make sure that this was actually real. Right, Candace? You just can't.
So this is starting out really bad. She's gaslighting people into thinking that Emma was this sex worker, when in fact the worst that she actually did was do topless pictures.
You can make the argument that sex work on OnlyFans, topless pictures on OnlyFans is sex work. That's a minor detail there. But Candace absolutely does make it sound like she was a whore. She makes it sound like she was a paid whore, which she wasn't. She just wasn't, and Candace could have checked that out. Candace may have checked that out because she's a lying twat, so who knows? But look, I have no way to verify whether or not Candace checked this out. So I'm just going to say she didn't, because I'm using Candace's method of bullshitting. She didn't check this out at all. And we know that because hopefully she wouldn't be such a horrible fucking Wow, she does stand up for a child predator.
On OnlyFans.
The first case involves a man who I am not going to name. And the only reason I'm not going to name him is because at the time of the allegations against him, Emma was in fact a minor.
All right. He's going to get into this in a minute, but I cannot. This is where I stopped the fucking video and went, are you fucking kidding me? I want to repeat what you just heard in case you didn't catch it. A guy who went to prison for having sexual relations with 2 underage girls. 2. His name is Keith Fox. She's not going to name him. He's in prison right now for 24 years for having underage sex. She's not going to name him because Emma, the victim, was a minor at the time who she's already named fucking repeatedly. You fucking horrible bitch. You are protecting a child predator while naming the child. The fuck is wrong with you? Jesus fucking Christ. You can't be this far up Andrew Tate's ass. This is a personal flaw in you. I'm not going to name the guy who sexually abused a minor because she was a minor at the time. Her name's Emma Gabby. She was a minor at the time, and it would be completely inappropriate me to tell you about this case with this Emma Gabby, who was a minor at the time, by naming the predator who did it. Are you out of your fucking mind? What world does that make sense in? Oh my God. Haven't heard Monkey's voice raised that high in a long time. This is protecting a predator. This man is in jail. There's no question he did it. He was caught on tape. There are pictures of him doing it. There was Emma Gabby's mom gets suspicious about this and hires a private investigator who gets pictures of it. There's no question he did it. He's in prison. And it's not just her. There were two victims. And this cunt is up here defending him. Oh, we don't want to name him. I mean, it might make him look bad. People might look, she actually said, people might look up the case. You gave the victim's name, bitch. They can't look it up based on that. How do you know? How do you think I found out about it, bitch? I looked up her name. Jesus Christ.
And that, of course, is relevant. So we just want to be ethical here.
Want to be ethical. We want to be ethical by naming the victim, but not the predator who's in prison for it. God damn. I want to be ethical. The fuck kind of ethics do you have? I'm going to need a statement of ethics from you. I really do. Because what world does this make? Somebody explain this to me. Somebody explain how it makes sense to protect the convict, but not the person that he, sexually abused.
So she wants to be ethical here, and she's protecting the man who has been convicted of a sex crime against 2 different minors.
Yep.
Because there was a minor, and
he can laugh about it. I can't. This is enraging.
Involved. However, she has no problem saying what the minor's name is. So she has no problem saying Emma's name, but she's not mentioning the actual name of Keith Fox.
Throughout this episode, by the way, you're going to hear some beeps when I'm discussing this case. If I accidentally say his name, we intend to just beep it out.
Keith Fox was a 57...
We got to beep out that name. We got to beep it out to be ethical. What? Fuck.
7-year-old man who was convicted and sentenced to 24 years in prison for sexually abusing 2 girls under the age of 18. Emma was a 15-year-old girl. He was a 57-year-old married man who was...
Now, I don't know if he says it, but you can read it right here at the bottom. A private investigator captured images of the 2 of them through a window of Fox's residence in Delray Beach. It was a private investigator hired by Emma's mom.
Sexually abusing her.
Hunter Biden, thank you. I'm hiring Candace to be my PR person. Right? Jesus. Candace, what the fuck?
Private investigator
okay.
captured images of Keith Fox sexually
I have watched this video once, but I don't remember everything he covers about what Candace says. I'm using his video because it's a lot easier than having to bring up. I'm lazy. That's all it is. Again, please make sure you check out Milk Bar TV. The link is in the description. When you leave here today, click on that and watch it. Let it play.
abusing Emma through a window. So he was caught red-handed. And if you look this case up, you're going to know that there's absolutely no possible scenario in where she falsely accused this man of anything.
And not expose his name so people can look up the case because, as I said, she was underage at the time.
Not expose his name because people could look up the case. But here's her name. Am I hearing right? It's 2 minors plus Emma. So no, it's 2 minors including Emma. Emma's one of the 2 minors involved here. Now I think she's about to hang on. I'll just let it play for a second.
And they don't want you to know his name because if you look this case up, you're going to see that she clearly did not frame him.
Yeah, in the court case, and I think Candace even does it here. The Tates are suing her. They don't mention Keith Fox by name. They call him Jailed Johnny or something stupid like that.
There were 2 girls that were involved in that case, just to be clear. And one of the girls admitted flat out to having an outright sexual relationship with him, including sexual intercourse.
That's the part that blew my mind. One of the girls admitted to having sex with him. Admitted? Well, one of them did, and it was Emma. And this comes after the police start their investigation, and they question the girls involved. The way one of the girls admitted it. One of the girls admitted she fucked him. They're not the ones on trial. They're not the ones who did something wrong. This is a 57-year-old man with a 15-year-old. You fucking horrible bitch. God damn. I don't understand why she's doing this. Because she is all in on the Tates. I don't know why. Probably because she was made to look like such an asshole after that video she did where she interviewed Andrew Tate and just sucked him off for 3 hours. Didn't ask him a single question that's really relevant. Brings up the one tape. Like, okay, I do want to ask you about this one part where you said this. None of the other tapes. None of the other video that's out there of this man basically admitting the crime that he's been charged with. And repeatedly, and the part we're going to watch of her summation later, she does it again, where it's like, none of the video is relevant to what's going on today. A lot of it is, sweetie. A lot of it is him literally admitting to what he's doing right now. But don't pay attention to any of that shit. The victim admitted to being the victim. Quality report, right?
Now let's talk about Marlon Fisher. Who is he?
So let's talk about Marlon Fisher. He was a 34-year-old man, and he met Emma 1 month after her 16th birthday. And all of the chats that you're going to see here, these chats allegedly come from Marlon illegally accessing her phone and taking all of these chats off of her phone. So this is a child predator, 34 years old, dealing with a woman who is 17 years old, and ignorance is not a defense, remember. She can lie about her age, but in Florida.
And again, I just want to repeat, there does come a point, I believe, where lying about your age does exonerate the dude. However, do you remember the very beginning of this video? Do you remember the very beginning? Keep it in mind.
The responsibility falls on him. And he has a history here.
All right,
and though the actual case was dismissed, there was another person who took him to court and filed a petition for stalking. There's
several times with the 5 child predators here, where Milk Bar and Murder by Crayons bring up their past history. Stalking doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna bang kids. So just it's kind of douchey in my opinion to bring this up because it's not necessarily relevant. I don't know what the whole stalking thing was. Maybe it is relevant. Maybe the chick was 16. I have no idea. But it just, to me, it's a distraction that doesn't really need to be there. You just tell us who he is in the case.
So this isn't the first time he's had issues.
So this is a text message.
It is the first time, as far as we know, that it's with underage people. So just having issues is not the same as this crime. Just saying.
That Marlon Fisher is alleging that Emma Gabby sent to people regarding him. Now, to be clear, before I read this text message, I am about to read you a lot of text messages that apparently came from Emma Gabby and other people throughout this episode. As a general disclaimer, these text messages are a part of cases that are pending and have been submitted to the courts. They have signed affidavits swearing that these
and
are
nobody
true.
ever lies in a sworn affidavit, just for the record.
Independently, of course, have no means to individually authenticate these messages and to say to you that these are definitely real and I'm holding the phone. So you're going to have to trust the people that are submitting them.
I'm okay and he's going to say we don't have to trust them. You don't have to trust them. I'm willing to trust them that they're real. It doesn't mean anything, and we'll get to that in a minute. But this is what I was talking about earlier, where she shows that picture of the 666 Fury sex line, so you can hire her to be a hoe that didn't really exist. Candace, you can sit here and be like, hey, I couldn't verify the court records. There is shit you could have verified, and you didn't fucking bother to at all.
You have to trust child predators. That's what she's saying right here. We have to trust that a man who was 34 years old having sexual intercourse with a girl who's 17 years old, which is statutory rape. We have to trust this man has given an honest affidavit.
So going back to this text message, the first one reads from Emma Gabby, again, out to all of her friends. I need to open up and tell you all something because I owe it to you, the people I care about. You have each moved me so much in my life that I am able to do it. I have a problem. I am a pathological liar. My life started in Kazakhstan, where I grew up in a loveless orphanage. We were picked up facing away from the caretakers, so we never developed love. I never learned how to hug, smile, kiss, touch, or be close to anybody. I was adopted by incredible people named Mona and Bill, who saved me from a life of abuse. I had a beautiful childhood because of them.
I like how she's putting these things on the screen from stories that she doesn't, reference or anything. I'm not saying Kazakhstani orphanages are great, but just to emphasize what she's saying here, she starts off by saying, okay, you're posting a message of her saying that she's a pathological liar, and then going on to believe everything she says after that. It reminds me of a thing I saw Pearly say yesterday. Just Pearly things. She said that women can be easily manipulated. She was talking about the whole voting thing, right? Now, women shouldn't vote because women can be easily manipulated. So I should take the wisdom of a woman who's easily manipulated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Why not?
When I was 11 or 12, I began to dissociate and resent them. I felt unwanted and like I had no family, so I began to rebel, doing drugs and meeting lots of different people.
This is exactly the type of troubled and vulnerable woman that human traffickers will look for.
Would a butt plug go off through a metal detector? And to give context to that message, the context that was provided by Marlon Fisher, she was asking Marlon Fisher if wearing her butt plug would set off the courthouse metal detector when she needed to go through in order to meet with the district attorney who was prosecuting the person that I just told you about, which is why.
Now, hang on.
Relevant.
Yeah, I'm glad
he took Keith off the screen there for a second. These are some text messages that are included in a lawsuit, and if you notice, there's no responses to any of them. In fact, in the bottom one where Gabby asks if a butt plug will go off through a metal detector, which I would guess only if it had a metal core, for anybody wondering. Notice they don't give any of the context. Here's the context. They don't show his tweets that were going on with her at this time. Now, you have to realize that at this time, she is talking to this guy about the case where she was 15 being fucked by a 57-year-old. And it hasn't been long enough for her to have turned 18. So where are his messages here? Gabby's asking Mr. Fisher if wearing a butt plug would set off the courthouse metal detector. Well, that's a weird conversation to have with a child. How does that come up? That's not like, hi, Emma, how are you today? Oh, hey, how are you, Marlon? By the way, does a butt plug set off a metal detector? That's part of a sexual conversation. All of it is. The first one says, my cunt is the word that's blacked out there. My cunt is craving abuse. I wish you were here to bite me. I wish I was gagged and tied up like a, behind there it says, cum slut. Right meow. There's no response from him to any of these. You have to add the context instead of just showing it. I mean, this dude's 34 years old, talking with a girl who's going through a trial for a guy who was banging her when she's underage, and she's still underage.
Understand the point of this. What she's doing is she's shaming a child. She's shaming
It has nothing to do with shaming. This is one of the points that he made that I really didn't understand. It doesn't matter about shaming or not. The real important thing is here, where the fuck is the rest of the context? It's very telling that Marlon didn't include his part of this conversation.
troubled child for having these, sexual kinks. And that has nothing to do with the fact that she was allegedly trafficked to
True.
Romania. None of this has anything to do with that, other than they're just trying to shame
They're
her.
trying to discredit her and say, look, she's a sexual deviant. Well, even sexual deviants can be trafficked. In fact, as you pointed out earlier, it's usually broken girls that these guys go after because they're easier to manipulate because they are looking for love. They're looking for that thing that's been missing in the. And if you know anything about abuse victims, a lot of them turn to weird sexual habits because they're looking for a relief that they're not going to get from it. And yeah, that's exactly the kind of people pimps like Andrew go after.
And this is being told by Marlon Fisher, so I can only say allegedly these are her actual text messages.
Hey, why didn't you reach out to him and ask him for his side of those text messages? Oh, never mind.
Allegedly.
Now, Marlon Fisher began to suspect that she was lying about her age. Now, remember,
was it because she was less than 2 years removed from the time that this guy was banging a 15-year-old? I'm just curious, because I mean, he gave the context of her needing to go through the metal detector for her case, which was about her being a 15-year-old getting fucked by an old man.
is serving a prison sentence. His life has pretty much been destroyed here.
His life has pretty much been destroyed. He had sexual relations with 2 underage girls. Johnny Hellcat, thank you. They're all searching to be Julia Roberts, apparently. This poor guy's life has been destroyed, you guys. All he did was put his dick in a 15-year-old. Who cares that he was 57 years old at the time? I mean, she lied. She asked about butt plugs. Fucking bitch.
But the pattern of behavior, again, this is coming from Marlon Fisher, that was used on him represents the same pattern.
Do you see this? This is from the Andrew Tate one. The pattern of behavior used on Jailed John. Keith Fox. That's the name of the child sexual predator that we're talking about here, Keith Fox. Jailed John. The pattern of behavior used on Jailed John repeats the same pattern of behavior used against her other victims. Were there texts about her going to court with a butt plug with Jailed John here? You could probably look that one up, Candace. Have your crack research staff get on it. Maybe when they stop beating off the pictures of fake whores. Jesus.
Pattern of behavior that she used against her other victims.
Okay, so pause it right here, because Jailed John, who is Keith Fox, he was caught on film and he was convicted. There is no scenario here where she misled him. Ignorance is not a defense. That's why he was convicted and why he was actually sent to prison, because in Florida, that doesn't matter. She lied about her age. So what? It was your responsibility. That's
2, not just 1, 2 girls. That cannot be dropped. Okay. Whatever you think of Emma, are you saying the other girl was also has a pattern of tricking guys and butt plugs in courtrooms?
That's why they convicted him and actually sent him to prison. Additionally, if Fisher once finds that, if he starts questioning her age, that's where you sever the relationship. You don't continue a relationship with someone when you start to suspect that they might be a minor. You're gone. You bounce. The fact that he's hanging around is suspect.
I believe that was induced into an illicit sexual relationship with a minor.
With a 15-year-old. A 15-year-old. There. Okay. She looked older. She ain't looked that old. Motherfucker was 57.
Under false pretenses.
2 girls.
According to Marlon Fisher, performed deviant sexual acts in the bedroom, such as urinating on her during intercourse.
Yeah, he's the victim. He's the victim here. The 57-year-old married man who is urinating on a 15-year-old child is the victim.
Exactly. Thank you. She made him pee on her. This poor bastard. He didn't want to pee on the kid. She made him. Fuck right off. She looked 15 and a half, right?
Just for context.
Well, it ends with Emma Gabby filing documents against Marlon Fisher. On September 16, 2019, she walked into Palm Beach County Courthouse and filed a temporary injunction for protection against domestic abuse.
Now, see, that is where the former charge kind of does make a little more sense, because she filed a protection order for abuse, not for, and he's saying this. You have to look at what his case is. She files this petition for protection against domestic abuse, and he comes back with she wanted to wear a butt plug and let the last guy pee on her. Are you seriously pinning this on Candace? I'm pinning Candace's bullshit on this. If you can explain to me, Chicken, how it makes sense for her to protect the name of the guy who went to prison for banging a 15-year-old rather than the name of the 15-year-old, maybe you have a point, but meh. Thank you, Tyson. R. Kelly would be proud, indeed. All right.
Against Marlon Fisher under what he claims are false pretenses.
So what we have here is the
it.
second situation where Emma has accused someone formally. The first one was Keith Fox, and I believe it was her mother that started that.
That's what happened.
But he was convicted. He was convicted. He did it to another girl. He was caught on film. He was convicted. There's no question that was not false. Now we have the second person here who she did go to the police and file some sort of an accusation. Notice it was not kidnapping and it was not human trafficking, as the Tates love to claim.
Yes, so Andrew likes to say that this girl has accused 7 men of kidnapping. Yeah.
One that was actually convicted, so that's not false. And we have a second one, which has nothing to do with human trafficking or kidnapping.
She filed a restraining order under oath in Florida State Court where she accused Marlon Fisher of severely abusing her. Marlon Fisher, distraught, did not know what to do. Now, Just as a reminder, they've engaged in BDSM, according to him.
Right. This is all according to Tate's and according to the man who was raping her, essentially.
Yeah, and the most that they showed for BDSM was a thing where she said she wanted bit. I guess that's a form of BDSM if you think 50 Shades of Grey is BDSM, but whatever.
She wants to engage in BDSM, and so now she is claiming that she has been abused. So you can imagine this obviously presents some suffering.
Pause. You've been having sex with a minor, and now you found out that you're having sex with a minor. You continue to have communication with the minor, and now the minor actually goes to the police and makes some accusations against you. Oh yeah, of course you're going to suffer. You know, that's statutory rape. You know, I'm surprised Chris Henson didn't walk in and tell him to have a seat. Why don't you have a seat right there?
The next case, and I want to be clear here, I have seen people online circulating saying that this woman, that Emma Gabby, caused a man to commit suicide.
Epstein and Ghislaine got off scot-free. Epstein got murdered, and Ghislaine is in prison. Ghislaine's in prison for the rest of her life. How's that off scot-free? Now, look, I want to know who their client list was, too. I bitched about that many, many fucking times. But you can't claim they got off scot-free. Epstein got away with it for a long, long time, thanks to his buddies in politics and that bullshit 2008 conviction of his. But not so much scot-free.
I want to say that that is something that is an allegation that I would not stand by.
So Candace says she wouldn't stand by this, but then she continues to go into it.
I'm not going to stand by it, but here it is.
She obviously wants to plant that seed to make you think, well, maybe she was involved. So Dustin Milner was a 35-year-old depressed man who was having sex with a 17-year-old girl, which was Emma. He also has a criminal history. He got a felony for unauthorized possession of an identification card. So it looks like at one time he also had a fake ID.
Now, again, this doesn't, it's irrelevant to the case unless he got Emma an ID so that she could bang old men. We talked about this case a couple of days ago, and we'll get back.
So 35 years old with a 17-year-old. Now, according to the Florida lawsuit, there's no actual evidence that says that she's involved. They're basing it on the brother believing, his thought is that she may have been involved. And I can understand where he might be coming from, where he's trying to make sense of the suicide and he wants to put the blame somewhere. So obviously he's going to place it with her, but there's no actual evidence that she was involved.
So there is no evidence here that could back this up. She didn't tell him to kill himself.
Okay, so she just said it. There's no evidence to back this up. Candace said that herself. And it's also important to understand there is no accusation here.
Yep. Because this is one that the Tate and the Tate fans love to bring up. She caused a man to kill himself with this stuff. There's literally no evidence whatsoever that she accused him of anything, threatened to accuse him of anything. The whole notion that she was involved in his death comes from his brother and a friend of his who are like, well, it had to be her, despite the fact the guy had a history of depression. It had to be her. Did it? Because and this is one of the ones that the Tates point to when they said the 7, even though it's not 7, the 7 guys that she claimed kidnapped her. She drove a man to suicide. There is literally no fucking evidence of it. But Candace repeated that shit because of course she did. Here's who Emma Gabby is. This is what they say she did. One of the people who was banging her when she was underage, and the 2 people accused of trafficking her currently. Yeah, let's take their word for it. She repeats it as though, hey, look, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not, but that's what's being said. There's no evidence, but that's what's out there. Knowing damn good and well people are going to repeat this stupid shit. There is literally zero fucking evidence of it. So all you tater tots, I fucking love that people have started calling you guys that. Tater tots can suck it, all right?
She did not accuse him of trafficking, of
Not
kidnapping,
once.
or any particular crime. He unfortunately committed suicide, and there's no evidence to actually back that up.
And so I just want to make it clear that in digging into this, I didn't feel comfortable suggesting that she made him commit suicide.
But you still repeat it. I didn't feel comfortable suggesting it, but I'll tell you that others have. You fucking dirty bitch.
You talked about it anyway.
Moving on to a young man named Tyler Hensel.
Okay, so Tyler Hensel, the young man who was 35 years old, and you can see that at the bottom of the screen there. She highlights something in yellow, but if you go down and look, you can see that Tyler was 35 years old and Emma was 17 years old. Now, Tyler alleges that he thought she was 26 years old, but again, ignorance is not a defense. The responsibility falls on him, 35-year-old with a 17-year-old.
Indicating to Hensel, like to Martin Fisher before him, that she was into BDSM and insisted on calling him daddy in the bedroom. At one point,
there are lots of people who are not into BDSM that get into that daddy thing. So stop it, Candace. Stop it. You know damn good and well when you were in Bucharest, you were calling him Daddy Tate. Stop it.
when the two of them were alone, Gabby even jumped on top of Tyler Hensel, initiating sexual contact.
Well, she jumped on top of him. He had no choice but to put his wiener in her. Cryptic, thank you. Monk just went retard southerner for a second time. Thank you for the donation. She even jumped on top of him. Well, yeah, I mean, at that point, you're legally obligated to fuck. She initiated the sexual contact. All right. Just for those of you who are curious about this, let me help you avoid a charge. If a child jumps on you and wants sexual contact, tell him no. You're welcome. Thank you, Donald Camp. You tell him, Internet Daddy. It's Internet Dad. Thank you. Thank you so much, Donald.
Hensel, who was not into this kind of degrading behavior, often rejected her demands for more aggressive sexual contact.
Wait, he could say no? But just a moment ago, she jumped on him and he had to do it. Well, I guess he found his balls. Maybe when she jumped on top of him, he couldn't see his balls, so he couldn't say no. I don't know.
Conduct.
But he still had sex with her, and there's no way, looking at her picture, are you going to think that she is 26 years old?
All right, now that is not fair. I still don't think she looks old enough that you should put your dick in her if you're over 20. But some guys, for some reason, are like, no, she looks 45 when she doesn't have a single wrinkle on her. You can't say he didn't actually think it. That's you can't say that.
She's 17 years old. That's not going to happen. And I hate the fact that she keeps shaming her for her sexual kinks. That's not a crime. If you want to talk about sexual kinks, the Tate brothers are both on the record for choking women until they pass out.
That is true. Not just choking them until they pass out, having sex with them still after they've done so. Yeah. You should look into some of the ones that Tristan has out there. And this is from the video where Andrew was whipping the chick with his belt. And she came out later. Yeah, we were just playing.
Now, again, this person, she never ended up filing anything against.
Okay, pause. So there were no accusations made against
No
Tyler
accusation.
Hensel. So now we have.
So of the 7, we're up to 4 people right now. There's only one conviction, one accusation, which was actually came in the way of a domestic violence accusation, and 2 where there's no accusation at all. She accused 7 men of kidnapping her. You a lying son of a bitch.
Have 2 of the men where there were no accusations made. One of the men was actually convicted. So we have 1 man where accusations were made, and it was not about human trafficking or kidnapping. So we have one man where
it wasn't even about underage sex. It was about him beating her.
accusation against. And technically speaking, he was 34, she was 17. That is statutory rape.
It's true.
So she would have been within her rights to actually
And
make
she
that
didn't.
complaint.
Then we have the defamation of Joel Friedman.
All right, Joel.
That she defamed a man named Joel Friedman. And this is an actual text message. How do we know about this defamation against Joel Friedman?
All right, so Joel Friedman is a 39-year-old man. Again, Emma was 17 years old. And how did you learn about the defamation? Surprise, through Fisher, the child predator. And also, Friedman had a history of drug abuse. He's actually been brought up on charges for drug abuse. One of the charges was possession of cocaine.
Exchange.
Bringing up charges that are unrelated, I get some people think that can show a proclivity for illicit behavior, but no, again, we got to be fair here. We got to be fair. That's not fair.
Between Marlon and Gabby. Gabby writes, "Can I message Joel to tell him that I have a boyfriend?" Marlon Fisher says, "As you clearly understand, nobody cares that you have a boyfriend, but if you'd like to tell him that he raped you, by all means." Emma says, "I'd like to not put our relationship at risk. I'll gladly tell him when I'm 18 and anybody else that happened with."
All right, let's stop right there. These are text messages to the guy who claims she tricked me into thinking she was 18. She says to him right here, "I will gladly tell him when I'm 18. Now, let's say you guys are dating a chick, all right? You guys are dating a woman. She looks young, but she's told you she's 26. Or in this case, I don't know, maybe she told him she was 18. I don't know what age Fisher claims she says she was. But you get a text from her that says, "I will gladly tell him when I'm 18. Does that make you go, huh, I wonder if she's 18? Or does it make you go, I'm so glad she's 18?
So sweet you are. You're breaking up with me because I don't want to tell Joel that he raped me. One, I don't know if he would tell other people that I'm underage.
In case it wasn't explicit enough, when she said, I'll tell him when I'm 18, right here, I'm underage. It was written directly.
I'm underage, and Fisher is still with her.
Yep.
And she doesn't want to ruin the relationship with Fisher. He knows she's underage right here.
And remember, she doesn't want to ruin the relationship with him by telling another guy that she's underage. You see that? She doesn't want to ruin the relationship with this Fisher guy, this poor victim, by telling another guy she's underage. And she's having that discussion with Fisher. For fuck's sake. This is one of Emma's victims, you guys.
How can you say she set you up?
Right?
You know she's underage.
She told you.
And you're continuing with this relationship. I'm surprised Candace is actually reading this.
Yeah.
I'm not, because Candace is a retard and probably didn't realize what she did right here.
Dude, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
See you, Donald.
Marlon Fisher ended up actually confronting Friedman. You imagine your girlfriend tells you that she was raped by some other man.
Pause. Your underage girlfriend tells you that she was raped by another man.
Well, wait. Should I tell him he raped me? Now, that is an important context. There's no suggestion in here that it was a forcible rape, that she's actually referring to the fact that she's underage.
Your underage girlfriend, when you were 34 years old, tells you that she was raped by another 39-year-old man. What is going on here? How is she saying this with a straight face?
Well,
Because she desperately wants that Tate spunk.
eventually, Marlon Fisher confronts Friedman over the rape allegation. Friedman, purports to be an innocent man, of course, denied those allegations. Friedman stated that they had a dating type relationship, but were never intimate and shared the passion of music together.
Wait, isn't this the guy who she jumped on and he just couldn't help but put his wiener in her?
we're supposed to believe an underage girl is so sexually charged that she's into all of this crazy stuff and want to put butt plugs in and walk through court and get choked and all this BDSM. But with this one guy, there's no sexual relation whatsoever. Yeah, I have a hard time believing it.
So that's
look, man, we just like music.
Really interesting. You see a person who has a pattern, these men that are coming out and making statements via an affidavit that about their relationship with her, about how she lied, about how she manipulated. But this pattern of speaking to one man about the last man and claiming that she's in a compromising situation is what these men are saying.
Bitch, she told him, she mentions to this guy repeatedly that she's underage. Should I tell him, or I'll tell him when I'm 18? That indicates she's not yet. She specifically then says, I'm underage. And he kept fucking her. Don't sit here and try to pretend he's a victim. He fucking knew. Maybe he didn't the first time, but once he got his dick wet, he kept going back for more. And you don't get to sit here and go, oh my goodness, she's got a pattern of behavior of blaming the last guy for what happened. The hell are you talking about? Hey, Crythorn. For the record, you might need to adjust your, he says he's going back to the beginning. You might need to adjust your volume. I've been yelling quite a lot.
Pause. Yeah, we need to go back on this because Candace has talked about 5 men.
Here we go.
Here. And let's kind of put this in context.
And for the record, Tate says it's 7. Candace has talked about 5. So let's look at the 5.
That's what the Tate's saying, that she's accused 7 men of kidnapping or human trafficking.
There's going to be another
conversation
as to whether women can go around and accuse 7, 8, 9, 10 people of kidnapping on repeat whenever they don't get.
Tate in several places. I don't know that I've seen him accuse her of saying other people have human trafficked her, but he does repeatedly say that she has accused other men of kidnapping her. There's not a single accusation of kidnapping anywhere in what Candace has shown us. None. And if you watch the full video, which I will link, there's none made. There's none made of being kidnapped by these guys.
The handbag they want.
So this all began with a girl accusing us of kidnapping her. A girl we have the CCTV to prove was never kidnapped.
There's Tristan. The accuser has accused 7 men of kidnapping her.
Isn't it interesting that she's accused 7 other men of kidnapping?
7 other men.
So Keith Fox, he was convicted.
Fox not convicted of kidnapping. See, hang on. Let's let this go on.
There's no question. There was no false accusation there. Dustin Milner, there was no accusation. Tyler Hensel, there was no accusation. Marlon Fisher, there was an accusation, but to be fair, he would fall under statutory rape. He was 34, she was 17. And Joel Friedman, there was no formal accusation.
Right. Now, we need to stop here because what Murder by Crayons gets wrong here is that, remember, the Tates keep saying that she's accused 7 other men of kidnapping. None of these men were accused of kidnapping. Not one. Mr. Fox here was accused of statutory rape, which he was caught on camera doing with 2 girls. Remember, there's 2 girls involved in that case. 3 of the guys, there's no accusation at all. One of them is the guy who killed himself, that they're like, it had to be her fault, although there's absolutely 0 fucking evidence for it. And then the other guy, Mr. Marlon Fisher there, the accusation against him was that he had been beating her. Not that she was kidnapped, but that there was domestic violence involved. Crythorn, thanks so much for becoming a monthly supporter over there on Rumble. I appreciate it, my friend. So not one of these is kidnapping. Not a single fucking one. None. 7 guys of kidnapping her. None. Do you think Candace could have looked? She read through the fucking thing. Does she call out Tate for this? No, of course not. Is she going to call out Tate for being a fucking liar about that? Nope. She can call out the tater tots for repeating it? Nope.
It was Marlon Fisher who claims Emma told him that Joel raped her, but that's not a formal accusation. So at best, we have 2 accusations, and one of them was not formal. So I don't know
And none of them are kidnapping.
where this whole she accused 7 men came
There's
from.
not a lot in the stream to joke or be sarcastic about. You can make fun of Candace for being a retard. There's plenty of that going around.
That simply does not exist.
Yeah, and there's 2 missing men. That's 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
She says that she's in a compromising situation and the other person's here to rescue her. She's telling Marlon that Tyler Hensel raped her. She's talking to this person. She's talking to Friedman and saying, oh, this other guy that I'm dealing with
She got the name wrong there.
is raping me, or I'm in a compromising situation. This is her pattern of behavior before she ever meets a single Tate brother. Again,
Yeah, pause.
do these
This is the pattern of behavior of a child. This is the pattern of behavior of a child who has been sexually abused by multiple men. And by men, I don't mean men who are 21 years old, men who are 39, 34, 35, 35, and 57.
This is the pattern of behavior of a child who's been abused, and not the sexual abuse he's talking about here. This is the pattern of behavior of a child who was sexually abused or even just physically abused earlier on in life. They, as I mentioned early on, they tend one of the ways victims deal with that is to become overly sexualized. Lancelot, thank you. I'm behind, but and off topic. The butt plug and metal detector question sounds like a conversation you and Jack would have. True. But ours wouldn't be in a sexual context. All right. Again, please go check out this video from the gentleman. It's on Milk Bar TV's channel. I'm going to throw the link into chat one more time. And we're going to switch just to Candace, the end of Candace's thing here, because it's fucking beautiful. We're going to share this tab. We're going to blow it up. And Candace, we're going to let her give her summation instead of listening to these gentlemen talk about it. The lengths that she's gone to already to defend these idiots. I don't even know what else to say there. I prefer Tainter thoughts. Oh, I like that actually. Here's the Candace Owens full video, so nobody thinks I'm trying to take anything out of context, because that is a popular refrain of the Tater Tots. All right, so she's just played a video of the 2 victims who say they're not victims. Would anybody who's been abused by men come out and say that they weren't abused by men? Who are we supposed to believe? I don't know, Candace. Has a woman ever gotten her ass whipped by a man only for the police to show up and go, he ain't do nothing? He ain't do nothing. Does that ever happen, Candace? Nah, no. People always immediately go out there and be like, no, he hurt me. Right, Candace? Right?
Again, those are 2 victims that are listed in the indictment documents against the Tate brothers. Do those sound like victims to you? Why are we?
By the way, these are also 2 girls who Andrew Tate is recorded on the prison phone telling his people to get these people out there to make videos to clear my name. Yeah, they did it all on their own. They are so in love with the Tates that they were like, we just have to make videos defending him. Sure. Yeah.
We ignoring them? Are we just pretending that you think that they're just being entrapped, that they're being controlled, that they are saying these things and that they have no meaning because ultimately they're human sex trafficking victims and they don't know it? Or do you believe that they're telling the truth?
Well, let's see, Candace. Considering you just spent in your video an hour and 8 minutes convincing us a woman lies, I don't know. Should we? Wrong link. What link went in? Oh, how the hell did that link end up in there? Sorry, guys. Here you go. Here's the Candace Owens one. Thank you for pointing that out. I mean, you could have been nice and not put the boomer on there, but there you go. Sorry about that, guys. That's the link to the Candace Owens video. Candace, you can't be this dumb, okay? We know that people who get into these kind of situations often end up defending their abusers. It's just true. But no, who do you believe? I mean, let me ask you this, Candace. By the way, I love where I pause that because it makes it look like that's the look that she should have on her face the whole time she said everything here. Like, Durr. Anyhow, Andrew Tate and Tristan are on video repeatedly basically describing what they've done. We're not supposed to believe that. We're not supposed to believe that at all. But these two girls who were ordered by Andrew Tate to come out and say this stuff, we should definitely believe them. Yeah. I mean, don't believe straight from the horse's mouth. Of course not. That meant what? Are you insane?
Do you believe that it is plausible, at the very least, that Emma told a story to another one of her lovers and it got out of hand?
Which one? Which of her lovers did she? This is great because this is Candace just making shit up out of whole cloth. Which of her lovers did she tell this to? Which of her lovers did she tell this to, who then went to the authorities to claim that Tristan and Andrew had kidnapped and human sex trafficked her? Which one?
In the same way that we covered extensively the Carly Russell story. Oh, issue, strife with a boyfriend, pretends that she's abducted. Probably never in a million years imagine that the Secret Service and the FBI would get involved and that it would become a nationwide search. Sometimes it happens.
Sure. I mean, the Tawana Brawley case is a great example of that, but that's not even close to what's going on here, sweetheart.
You tell a lie, somebody takes you seriously, and they contact the authorities. There are either two versions of this fence, that these four girls were actually trafficked, that the girls that you just heard from are so deluded and so trafficked and so under
trafficked. I love that part.
Their spell and just cannot break away from it, that they're defending the people, defending the two individuals that they are being victimized by. You're talking.
Women never do that. Women never defend people that are victimizing them, ever. It's unheard of. It's not a very, very, very common thing in domestic abuse. And frankly, men as well. But people who are abused, they never protect their abuser.
About the most severe case of Stockholm syndrome that has ever existed.
No, sweetheart, you're talking about something very common. Very fucking common.
Or young American women who's had a very troubled background. Not all of it, perhaps her fault, but at the very least, some of it.
I'm sorry. With Keith Fox, the gentleman you won't name because you don't want people to go look up an underage sex case. By the way, the victim's name is Emma Gabby. She repeats it probably 100 times in this video. It's her fault. It's her fault that at 15 years old, she was banging a 57-year-old man. That's her fault. At least some of it was her fault. At least some. By the way, the guy she convinced to kill himself, I'm not saying she did that. But some of it is her fault. Some of it. Candace, you are part of the problem. I do want to say thank you because we finally have an example of a man who's banging a minor and somebody's just blowing it off like it's no big deal, like they do with female teachers. But here's the deal, Candace. It is never the child's fault when somebody's fucking them. I don't know why you need to be told that. Thank you, Eval Potato. The Tates are on video talking about intimidating a journalist to not report on them by sending men to his house. It wouldn't be unreasonable that could happen to the girls that are being accused of abusing. They are being accused of abusing. Yes, indeed. Andrew has a video out there. He's like, we told this guy to stop and he didn't listen. And so we We sent the guys after him, and he shit a brick when he saw the black SUV outside of his house. And now he doesn't say anything against me. Yeah. That's in part of a video where he's talking about, why do people think we're a mafia? I mean, the gay mafia, maybe, Andrew. You're just a fucking degenerate is what you are. Why do people think we're the mafia?
Likely her fault, right? So met Tristan
Sure,
Tate,
it's her fault.
thought she was going to live a high-flying European lifestyle, got bored, and decided that she wanted to go on a trip to London and made some allegations that spun out of control. I believe that regarding this particular case, the latter is true.
With no evidence whatsoever behind it. None at all.
That's my belief. I'm putting it out there. And I know I can't say that because look at this 10-year-old video of him talking about this. Doesn't it mean anything? In this case, it doesn't.
These videos of him saying what he's doing, it means nothing in this case. Nothing. But this butt plug tweets, that's where the really important thing is. She asked this guy who knew she was underage if she could have a butt plug going into court. And oh man, you really got to see. Look what a horrible, degenerate whore she was. Fucking bitch.
In this particular circumstance, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
To understand what is happening in this case, you have to unpack how it all went down, and it begins and ends with this girl, Emma. So I implore you guys to look further into this case and to understand that people that are talking about this case are not talking about it necessarily because they think Andrew Tate is a pillar example of Christianity and conservatism in America.
I can't wait to hear why. Thank you, Alan, for the donation. Appreciate it, my friend. They're not talking about him because they think he's a good Christian. No, you're talking about it because let's just say you got your fill in Bucharest.
No.
I have no proof of that, but some people are saying. I don't have any proof. It's just an allegation that I can't say I believe it because I haven't seen any proof. But some people are saying that she got spit roasted by the Tates while she was there, that she got DP'd while she was there, that she did all kinds of degenerate shit, that she peed on both of them and then they both peed on her. I'm not saying that. I've heard people say it. I can't say I believe it because I haven't seen evidence.
No.
That's called parody, twat.
Rather, we're keeping an even tone and recognizing that it should not be the circumstance that any person should serve time in prison for a crime that they did not commit. I also don't believe in karma crime. I don't believe that because you hate what Andrew Tate said 10 years ago, he should spend time in a Romanian cell.
What if it's the same thing he's accused of? I love that she keeps blowing past it. Just 10 years ago. By the way, when his dad passed, your dad passed recently. That was 9 years ago. That was just recent. But 10 years ago, he made a video. Yeah, 10 years ago, he made a video saying what he's doing, saying what he's been accused of. And it wasn't just 10 years ago. He did it 3 years ago.
That's not how it works.
No.
I also want to say that, again, the Romanian authorities did everything right.
Let's just stop there for a minute. If the video from 10 years ago was Andrew Tate saying, I knocked over a McDonald's, I put a gun in somebody's face and made them empty the cash register, and then these charges come out, and they're like, see, look, he robbed a McDonald's once. I'd say that video has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it at all. But that's not what we're talking about here, Candace. Why is Monkey angry? Because she's a lying bitch who went victim blaming and on a rampage about how horrible this girl is based on sexual predators, and mostly because she protected one of them throughout this fucking video. Refused to say the name of a guy who's in prison for abusing 2 underage girls. She said the name of one of the underage girls, but if you have his name, you might look up the case. That is one of the most retarded fucking things I've heard on the internet, and I've been here for a while. And that is up there. That's like in the top 5. We're doing it because we're ethical. What kind of fucking ethics do you have?
Right.
Bruh, did she do that? She absolutely did that. We watched it. Are you like really high?
Again, imagine that phone call from an American embassy stating that they believe that there was an American girl that was kidnapped on business flight tickets. She was kidnapped and being held against her will. You are supposed to take that seriously, right? This is Eastern Europe and you are dealing with big bad America. They did everything right.
You see, they were just forced into it by big bad America.
Obviously. And now they have an opportunity to continue doing everything right by informing the public of exactly what's going on. And I believe
understatement. When it comes to the videos, you're talking to somebody else, but you say this. There are people implying that those videos prove he did it, which is false. You're right. It doesn't prove he did it. But it does show that he has been bragging about doing it for a long, long time. Is that absolute proof? No. But is it a good indication? Yeah. Is it at least something to point at and go, I've got questions? Yeah. Is it something that should just be dismissed because it was 10 years ago? Fuck no. Which is what too many people are doing. Like Candace, it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. One, it wasn't just 10 years ago.
believe that them releasing him from house arrest might be a sign that they are recognizing, after having the time to investigate these claims, that perhaps it wasn't what it first looked like.
That is not at all what that means. Him being released from house arrest is basically bail. That's it. It's basically he's on bail. He's under judicial, judicial watch. I forget what the exact term is. He's not allowed to leave the county of Bucharest where he's at. He can run around and flash his money, but he's basically on bail. That's like saying, because we let somebody out on bail here who did something horrible. Obviously, they didn't do anything. It's the court system recognizing that there isn't a thing here. No, that's not what it is at all. Judicial monitoring. Thank you.
Perhaps the call from the embassy, while it came in earnest, and that young man, Matthew, was definitely concerned for all the right reasons, that he did nothing wrong either. He might have also been defrauded in this circumstance, that upon further inspection, this does seem to be a situation that is spun out of control.
Well, when you sit here and lie to the audience and gaslight them, you literally lied. You said she was a sex worker and then put up this thing that shows where it looks like you can call her to get your dick sucked. Now, you were very careful in how you said that. But let's be honest what you're saying there. You're a dirty bitch.
So that is why I am following this case. I remain interested in this case. And I believe that although there was plenty that I disagree with that Andrew Tate has done and said in the past.
Hey, Candace, how come you only brought up the one video? When you talk to Mr. Tate, how come you only brought up the one video? You're online a lot. You have a team of researchers. They only found one Tate video that you disagreed with. And when he says, "Oh, that's not how I think," and you go, "Oh, I'm so glad that you denounce how you used to act." Of course he does. What's he gonna do? Admit to it? He had two choices in that when you bring up that video. Yeah, it's exactly what I do. Or, nah, bruh, I'm not like that anymore. Don't forget, he was also talking about robbing girls during that and how we would take an extra 20% and lie to them and say it was for taxes.
I do not believe that he is guilty of the crimes that are being laid at his feet right now. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's all you're going to say about it? You spent an hour and 12 minutes saying a whole lot more. You didn't just come on here and say, I think that he's probably innocent because the video's 10 years old. You dug into Emma Gabby and absolutely besmirched her. You slandered her and stood up for a fucking child sex predator, you fucking weirdo. Good God almighty. Candace has always been someone I class as a disingenuous grifter who just goes where the money and outrage are. I've said this many times about Candace. I don't know what Candace honestly believes. I know Candace is very good at marketing herself. And you see this going all the way back to her social autopsy days. Well, that kind of blew up in her face before it blew up in her face. It was a very popular thing, a very popular notion. There were people already using the site despite what the bitch says. And she transforms from that when that blows up, excuse me, to suddenly coming out with her video, coming out to my parents as a Republican. And she blows up from that, much bigger than she ever was with the social autopsy thing. She has, I believe, a degree in marketing. I know she went to school for marketing. Someone should tell Ben Shapiro she's bad optics. Somebody should tell Ben Shapiro that she's standing up for pedophiles. Okay, not a pedophile. What is it? A hebephile, whatever it is, for somebody who bangs underage kids. Yeah. Is Daily Wire simping for Tate, or is it a Candace thing? As far as I know, none of the others have stuck up for him, but I don't know. Still don't understand why she wants to defend him like this. Tater tots are loyal. That's why. It's very simple. It's a marketing thing. Plus, I think she wants his dick, or got it. I can't be sure. I've heard people say that she got it. I'm not saying she got it, but I've heard people say that she just got ridiculously, willingly violated while she was there. It's stuff that would make Emma Gabby blush. But again, I'm not saying that. Other people have said it, and I'm just repeating it while denouncing it because I can't back it up. What a horrible... That's the part when I saw it, because I told Jag, I'm like, I got to watch this new Candace Owens one. And then I talked to him the next day. I'm like, we've got to talk about this. And it just kind of got pushed to the side. And I'm glad it did, because otherwise we would have had to watch the whole hour and 14 minutes of her. And I'm not sure I could take that bitch that long. Not in this context, because this was just dirty. How did you not need a shower after doing that? How do you go up there and we're not going to say the name of the guy who's in prison for this because we have ethics, and then immediately say her name, and having already said her name? How do you do that? And the only explanation I can come up with for that is, you're dirty. You know. And you're doing this to just try to gain the tater tot crowd. I just Now there's another update to this story we've talked about that I really want to do a response to. I guess I should wrap this one up. Candace, you are a horrible person. You should feel bad about what you did here. You should probably go see whatever spiritual advisor you have in your religion and explain to them what you did and beg for forgiveness. If you're Catholic, just go give some money. That'll take care of it. But otherwise, get on your knees, not for Tate, but at your bedside and ask whatever God you believe in to forgive you for this shit. Because holy shit, you are a horrible, horrible fucking person. Horrible. How do you stand up for a sexual predator, man? A child sexual predator at that. All right. Now, moving along. This is more drama than this. This one was a more serious one, because this has actual implications. The other one is the Brittany Venti, Rollo Tomasi thing. Oh, my God. Oh. So that just got funny. It was already funny. I don't care about either of them. I'm not a Venti fan, and nobody can ever accuse me of being one. So anybody, you're a Britney sip, shut the fuck up. I am well on record of not liking this girl at all. I am rather rude to her, but what she did here was funny as fuck, and it showed Rollo to be a dumbass. What she did, for those of you who don't know or don't remember, is Rollo, he is what he claims to be the father of the red pill, but don't call him the godfather of the manosphere, whatever it is, because he gets mad about that. It's, other people call me that. He does call himself the dad of the red pill. Brittany has been going after anybody who makes red pill stuff. Some of it fairly, some of it not. And she decided to go after Rollo, and she writes him a letter pretending to be somebody else, claiming to have dirt on her, including her nudes. And so Brittany's video then comes out about Rollo, and he goes on a stream. He's like, be careful, bitch. I got your nudes. I know about other people. And turns out it was all a setup by her. And it turns out that stuff he's been peddling for quite a while about how Lauren Southern had gotten pregnant by Destiny was a setup by Lauren Southern. He had the medical documents to prove it. It's a document that you can find online that was just filled out and sent to him, and he's a fucking retard. He didn't do any of his research. And at this point, all you have to do is say, you know what? They taught me a lesson here. I shouldn't let my hate allow me to just believe things blindly. Instead, what he said is, I showed this to a medical professional and they said it looked real. You know what that medical professional turned out to be? I'm not kidding. His wife. It was his wife who said that this looks like a legit intake form. Well, it was a legit intake form. It just wasn't a legit intake form for an actual ultrasound. Somebody just took a legit intake form and filled it out. You can pull those up online. You can pull up all kinds of medical documents blank online. All kinds of regular documents blank online. But Rollo did not learn his lesson. And instead of just going, yeah, they taught me this lesson. I should not just believe things because I hate somebody. I should really check into it. And instead of spreading rumors, I should not be a little bitch. And instead, he goes on to this podcast, which I can only describe as hilarious. The optics of it alone are just, I got to show you guys this. It's amazing. And I don't know if we'll get to a point where we'll actually go over it, but the optics of this, let me bring it up. Hang on. I've got to find it. It's the Ask Me Anything. There it is. There. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen. We're not gonna watch it right now. I have to laugh at these guys. All right, so here they are. There's three of them. One of them off screen that you can't see. Rollo's the one on the right of your screen. I don't know who the gay biker on the left is, but look at these two big, manly, vitamined gentlemen sitting there in all black and all biker gear. They look like a ridiculous tag team for wrestling. NWO, yes, exactly, JMK. But look at the set. You got your nice bright white couch. You have a pink wall back here with this gay little orange light on it. So you have yes, exactly, the blue oyster pie. I showed this to Jack and he goes, am I about to watch a gay porn? I'm like, no, it's not. I just love the optics of it. We're big manly men. But oh my God. That's Peach. All right, fair enough, Peach. I mean, yeah, you got and this is all him whining about how Brittany tricked him. And he even claims that she broke the law. And this comes from one of his dumbass followers who claims that they called the authorities on Brittany. I am not making this up. Claims they called the authorities on Brittany because she offered him a picture of herself naked at 17. Well, that's not illegal if the picture doesn't exist. It's not. I mean, it's basically a bait, and it's a yeah. Anyhow, she's going to jail, you guys. No, she's not. You fucking retard. Spurgs are gonna spurg. Oh my god, yeah. Oh god, the way they hold those mics is still. They got him by the shaft. I'm sorry. I could not stop laughing at just the optics of it. I like their nice spray tan. Actually, that's not spray tan. That's I've been in the tanning booth tan. But yeah, goddamn. You got bested by two little girls, okay? You got owned. Just take the L. Instead, he's got an hour and 41-minute stream. Ask me anything. Here are the facts. And this is where we find out that it was his wife who verified the Lauren Southern document. Oh my God. Rolo says he knows she's not going to jail, to be fair. That's not what he was saying in here, unless it's later on. I'll be honest, I did not watch the full thing. But yeah. She committed a crime, you guys. She didn't, bruh. This is called a life lesson, Rolo. It's called a life lesson. Nobody is immune. Nobody is immune to being tricked. It happens to everybody. It doesn't matter how diligent you are, and especially when we let our passions control us. When we let our passions control us, we are far more easily swayed. And that's what happened here. You know Brittany, you know that she's going after you and she's been coming after the red pill. You don't like her, you don't like Lauren. That's fine. And you got tricked. They tricked you. It's a lesson. Calm down. Don't repeat shit that you can't back up. Candace Owens. Don't repeat shit you can't back up. Move on with your life. There's other reasons to rip on Brittany and Lauren. It doesn't have to be them being whores. I mean, for some reason for you, it seems to have to be that. I rip on Brittany all the time. I've never once had to go, guys, I've got her nudes. Which, by the way, he claims he had. I've got the pictures. He said it. And then he just alludes to it. But there is one point where he says he has them. Why would you use that as some kind of... He says in the email exchange that it could be an ace in the hole. An ace in the hole? For what? What ace in the hole is that, Rolo? If she's too mean to you, you're going to show the world her naked body? And remember, this is before he finds out that they're supposedly 17-year-old pictures. So this is not him saying that he wants 17-year-old pictures of her. I want to be clear on that. He just thinks they're naked pictures of Brittany. And he wants them to be his ace in the hole. Your ace in the hole? Well, an ace in the hole is usually what you play to beat the other person. That's what ace in the hole means. It's the card you have back to, I win. And that's what he says. I kind of get it. If someone says that something exists, you want proof that it exists. But it's not just that he's wanted proof it exists. It's the ace in the hole. If somebody says, hey, I've got nudes of this person, your answer should be, I don't care. I don't care. Because the only reason to get them, well, there's two: to beat off to them yourself or to try to use it to take them down. And the second one is somehow scummier than the first. He didn't want them just as proof that they existed. He wanted his ace in the hole. That's the part that bothers me about it. I mean, it's scummy either way, but that shows a clear indication that he planned on using it if he had to. All right. Well, yeah. Him saying ace in the hole doesn't necessarily mean he was going to show. All right. You are, man. When it comes to these guys, there's no convincing you they've ever done anything. I'm imagining at this point you still think Jack Murphy's a good guy. Because, I mean, how else would that be your ace in the hole? Just by mentioning him? And what, that's supposed to scare her? What if she doesn't scare? Then what? Well, then you got to show him. What if she says those don't exist? Yes, they do. Here they are. Ace in the hole means absolutely I plan to use this. For God's sake, dude. Man. It's okay to admit they do shit wrong. And this was wrong. Him trying to use that against her was absolutely wrong. And again, all he needs to do is come out and go, I fucked up. The girls own me. I learned a lesson to do better research. Maybe not get so personal. That's it. And instead he's like, oh, these fucking bitches. Knowing more of the situation and not making assumptions equals defend them. Sure. We're specifically talking about the fact he said that he needed it for it could be an ace in the hole. What more do I need to know about that? Let's say you're playing poker. You have an ace in the hole. Are you keeping it back so that you never have to use it? Or is it in case you do? There's a specific connotation to that phrasing, and it's exactly what he was saying. It's exactly what he was saying, and it's exactly what he ended up doing. He ends up going, I have the pictures. I have the pictures. He even lied about that. Will you admit he lied about that? You know the situation. Will you admit that he lied about having her nudes? Because he says he had them. He says, I have the pictures. Rollo Tomasi is a douchebag. Pure and simple. And like I said, maybe we'll go over that sometime soon. I have no idea. Hang on 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know how much I care about it other than to mock the fact that it looks like a gay porno being shot there. It's so bad. So fucking bad. Just learn your lessons, guys. When you make mistakes, correct them, move on with your life. That's all you got to do. Doubling down and tripling down just makes you look weak in the eyes of all except for the most faithful. So, yeah, I was wrong. I'm moving on with my life. Yes. So what's your next question? I'm that was my only question, to see if you'd be willing to at least admit that the guy lied about having nudes of a woman he was trying to blackmail into not talking bad about him. That's all. Okay. What else do we have today? I do have some other shit we can talk about, I suppose. I don't really want to get into politics today, though. I don't want to bring this one up on the screen because I don't want to blind everybody, but I'm going to do it anyway. I fucking hate white text on a black background. Why do you people do this to me? It's not good for your eyes. It says, I regret not making my marriage work, and now my ex-husband is happily remarried. Now, I don't know if this is real. And I got to be honest with you. There's too many parts of this that just seem perfectly written for certain segments of the political population. But, I don't get it either. People swear by dark. I don't understand it. It fucking drives me nuts. Ugh. A lot of the times when I'm doing it, see, I can't do it here. If it's from the direct source, this is a screenshot. You can at least highlight it all and you get the blue and it makes it a lot easier, but fuck. Is this am I the asshole? I don't know. It was on Reddit, but I'm not sure where it came from on Reddit. Anyway, it says, when I was in my early 30s, I divorced my husband. We didn't have any major issues. Our relationship was just challenged after having kids. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I expected him to do more of the housework and childcare when he worked full-time. Now, see, this is the part where it just seems a little too well written for the audience that's probably going to latch onto it. He did help me when I asked, but I started to ask more of him, and I burned him out. I used to have him wrapped around my finger and use that as an advantage to get what I want. Given the rest of this is the first paragraph here is exceptionally self-honest, self-aware. Like right there, I used to have him wrapped around my finger and took advantage of it to get what I want. It doesn't really fit with the rest of it. Anyway, eventually he got tired of it. I started threatening to divorce him, and he said he knew the baby was just stressing us out and he will make it work. But when I was 30, I thought I was such a great catch because I'm still very beautiful for my age, and I'd lost my mom bod. So I thought I could do better than him, so I left. I got our house in the divorce, and we shared joint custody of our son. Okay. That whole first paragraph, like I said, it's just a little too self-aware. But this is not uncommon. Now, this is why I'm stopping here, because we've talked about Kevin Samuels before. This fits right in with some of the chicks who called Kevin Samuels. It's the rest. It's just that part doesn't necessarily go with the rest of it. That doesn't mean it's not happening out there. It doesn't mean that it's not honest. Maybe it is. I don't know this person. Women in their 30s are not a great catch, especially when they have kids. We'll get to that, Septus Wolf. And Eagle says, I know a chick that did the same thing. And again, it's just that they're usually not that self-aware. You know what I mean? I thought I could do better because he wasn't doing enough. And she's like, he did everything I asked rather than he wouldn't do what I asked. You know what I mean? It's just a little too self-aware. Anyhow, so there's your background. They had a marriage. He was a great husband. Even though he worked full-time, she was a stay-at-home. He did anything she asked, kept doing more and more chores for her. And finally, she was like, fuck it, I'm leaving. I can do better. All right. So fast forward, now I'm 41 and still single, and my ex-husband is 41 and got remarried to a 31-year-old who's incredibly beautiful. They had their daughter 3 years ago. He bought a new house. My son loves going to his dad's to spend time with his other family, and I'm not going to lie, it makes me jealous. She has it all. She took my husband. She took my kids. She took my life that was once all mine. She ain't take shit. You gave it up. And all I have is the house we created our family in, and now I live in an empty house. Well, yeah. Pat says, so true karma. Yeah. And again, if you ever listen to Kevin Samuels, this is how a lot of them go. You'll have these chicks who would call in with a very similar story, although again, not as self-reflective. Yeah, usually there was something else. He didn't do enough was always the thing. But they would have similar stories like, and now he's found somebody else and I can't find anybody else. And I kind of want him back. And Kevin will be like, go fuck yourself. I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, it's a common thing going on these days. I don't want to say common, but it's not uncommon. How about that? Is this even real though? It could be fake as Penthouse. It could be, JB. But again, the reason that I keep pointing to Kevin Samuels is because you can go listen to women give almost an identical story. Once again, only with not being so self-aware. It's always the guy. He was all right to me, but I just wanted him to do more. I wanted him to be more. A lot of the times in those ones is that we didn't have enough money. That was a big one on the Kevin Samuels show. I thought I could do better. It was a common one. So, all right. I'm 41. I gained 20 pounds. I've got wrinkles and I'm all alone and miserable. I've had short-term relationships after the divorce, but they never worked out. Men just don't want an old woman like me with a child, and I've noticed that men with kids just have a better time dating with kids than we do, and I hate it. Welcome to the real world, honey. I'm not happy anymore. I wish I could go back when I was younger and I would have stopped being so childish. See, that's another one of those times where it's a little too self-aware for me to believe it's real. I would have stopped being, but she's 41 now. Maybe she has done some self-reflecting. Maybe she sat there and gone, you know what? It was my fault. I did do this. Anyway, now I have such a miserable life. I work a useless job now, and I have to share custody of my son, where he has to go spend time at my ex-husband's house with his new and improved wife. I feel like a dumpster standing right next to her. Well, she's 10 years younger than you, sweetie. My therapist said I should do something that'll make me happy, like a makeover, since I'm reminiscing about how I look so much and comparing myself to this new, beautiful young wife. So I decided to get a new hairstyle, and that didn't help. No matter what I do, I look like a middle-aged woman. All right. This is probably the most honest I've ever been in a while. Oh, I hate people. I just feel like crap. I wish I was a better wife over 10 years ago so I wouldn't be in this position. I know a lot of people on Reddit preach of being alone and single, but honestly, this is not an ideal life or a life I would wish on my worst enemy. And then somebody else, points out what a horrible bitch she is, and now she brings it on herself. And that's fair. Man, this is what I keep telling you guys about how it's not just men that are being destroyed, it's women too. Women are absolutely being destroyed. Part of it with the whole notion that being alone is okay. Some of us can take being alone. I'm a pretty solitary guy. I like being around people, but if I wasn't for a week or so, I mean, I'd be all right. Oh, most people aren't like that though. We're a very needy species. We need to be around each other. Now with I need to be alone, or I can be alone. I still need to see my wife. I still need access to her, because without that, I go insane. We're not supposed to grow old alone. We're just not. Whether it's a community that you have or it's your relationship, the thing about the community part of it is eventually it gets to where, stuff fades. Even if you are an outgoing person who goes to all these different events and stuff, that eventually fades, and you're supposed to have somebody you come home to and love. And this girl had that and destroyed it. And a lot of girls do that these days because they've been told that they're worth it. You're worth it. You're the queen. You're the queen. Go ahead, queen. Do your thing, queen. You ain't no queen. You're barely a gas station attendant. What are you talking about? The person who's supposed to treat you like a queen is the man in your life, and he was. But you wanted more. Now, she doesn't tell us what more she wanted in that, but a lot of the times it's a better guy. It's a better guy. Well, what's a better guy? Taller, richer. Richer is a big one. For young ladies, guys, for you women out there, I'm not saying all women want the money, but with women like this, it's typically money. We don't have a big enough house. We don't have our own chef. You see these things on your TLC channels, and look at how the Kardashians are living. That's not how most people live, and it's not what you should aspire to. You had a good, healthy relationship with a man who loved you and put up with your shit. Frankly, your man should have told you to shut the hell up. She's been like, no, no. I work all day. You take care of that. I'll help you once in a while, but you take care of that. And the Kardashians are miserable too. Yeah, well, because they can't keep a man. They have each other because no one else will keep them. We're ruining men and women. We're beating down men and raising women to have these expectations that are just ridiculous. They make no sense. They make zero sense. And it keeps getting pushed on them. And social media has been one of the worst things in this regard to ever come along. Because it doesn't matter what a woman puts on Twitter or on Facebook or anywhere else. You're going to have a ton of women who, like, you need to leave that hero or that zero and go get you a hero. That's some bullshit that started with Oprah. Oprah is the worst thing that ever happened to women in this country. And I mean that sincerely. Second only, the second underneath her would be psychology. Have you heard Rich Men North of Richmond? Yes, I have. I don't know what else to say about it. We talked about it the other night. Social engineers have blood on their hands. They really do. They're the things that we're doing to these poor women, man. That's not to say women can't be successful. By all means, go out there and be successful. But since when do you remember? Okay, women and men. The whole idea was for us to be equal, right? Equal. Well, what is part of being a successful man? It's not just a successful job. That's never what it was. I mean, it kind of is now with your Tate brother bullshit. But part of being a successful man was always finding a woman, having a family that you provided for. That's what part of a successful man was, having children. But for some reason, when it came to women, I know to be successful, you just need to climb the corporate ladder. Fuck children. Fuck it. I mean, maybe one day you'll have them, but fuck it. You got to climb that corporate ladder like a man does. I guess if you're lucky enough to have a man who stays home, because look, I'm not against that necessarily. But if you have a man who stays home and takes care of the kids, and then you can just focus on the corporate ladder, sure. But you're still going to have to take some time off because he can't have the kid no matter what they keep telling you on Twitter. And so you got to have that. Family is part of the success. Why did that get cut out when it came to women's success? I can't explain that other than, well, the kind of women who talk like that see children as a detriment to their success. And they do. But it's not true. That's not true. Family is absolutely part of your success as a human. My brother-in-law was a stay-at-home dad. There you go. It can work. It's not going to work in all relationships. And there are some severe downsides to it, especially it's not as bad as it used to be, but especially with the way society looks at it, you have to be a pretty strong man to put up with that, especially years ago. I'm not downplaying it, but it's not just easy. And not because of housework or anything, but because of societal expectations. I just don't understand why we're trying to convince women that that having children is not a normal part of success. I don't get it. I'm a stay-at-home dad for the last 11 years, so you can attest to it. I'm sure if you've been doing it for 11 years, then there have been people who've given you shit about being a stay-at-home dad. Hopefully not too much, but oh, Hyman, sorry, I saw this. You wrote this quite a while ago, just saw it. Monkeys live in the morning. Damn, I'm super late. It's all right. I always keep the VODs up. Well, okay, not always. Occasionally we accidentally show fat Batgirl vagina, but most of the time we keep them up. Yeah, so we have a problem with what we're teaching women. By all means, if you want to try to be successful with no kids and end up living alone, do it. Good luck. If you want to destroy a family that's working out, by all means, I guess do it. It's your right to. But when I was reading the part about them being married, and especially when they bring up that he says he knows the child is just a stressor, it's hard to be married. It's hard to be married. It's hard to live with somebody else anyway. Your best friend, your family, your parents, your siblings, whatever. It's hard to live with somebody else. You got to make concessions, and it's even worse when you're in a romantic relationship, because that the different stressors in there can take its toll on the romantic relationship, which was what brought you together in the first place. It's not like there was a family bond. You guys been, that's your mom, so you'll put up with her shit. When it comes to relationships, they're hard to begin with. Hosfer, thank you so much for becoming a monthly supporter on Rumble. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. We should be telling people that it's hard and that it's worth it. Now, if somebody's beating you, of course you don't stay. But if it's just little things driving you guys nuts, typically you could work through it and it's worth it. Anybody who preaches to you that marriage is easy, I watched Lauren Southern, because of all the Rolo stuff. I went on and watched most of Lauren Southern's video where she announced that she'd been divorced for 2 years and stuff. And I was listening to it, and she's talking about how she had this idyllic version of marriage in her head. I don't know who's telling people this. I don't know who's telling anybody that marriage is easy. I've never heard anybody say marriage is easy. But the whole point being that it's not. And if you go into it thinking that, oh, love will keep us together, you're wrong. Alan, thank you so much, who says amen. Indeed. Even Disney doesn't necessarily do that. I mean, Disney gives you the happily ever after, but it never shows the after. And by the time you've had a couple of relationships, which hopefully you had 1 or 2 boyfriends and girlfriends in high school, not necessarily a physical relationship, but some, we were dating, and they always fall apart, and that should give you a little bit of a hint that there is no happily ever after. You have to earn your happily ever after. You have to work for your happily ever after. Modernity has opened up too many options. I hear you, but that's not the problem. Having options is great. That doesn't mean we have to take them. And you have these people who just pretend that it's so easy to be alone. Really? Then how come alone people are so miserable all the time? Like, oh, but married people are miserable. Some sure. But you don't tend to see that with a couple. You never see them. I hate that bitch. Has that ever happened? Somebody been married 60 years and like, fuck this bitch. Love won't keep us together. It won't. You have to want it. You have to really want it. Thank you, Cryptic. Al Bundy has the best marriage. He always wants to off himself, but he's still there day after day. True. And Al Bundy, there's only a couple of episodes where you see it, but Al Bundy's a great example of that, where he's miserable. But every chance he gets to get out of the relationship, he's like, nah, I'm all right. This is where I belong. Song lyric in there somewhere. Love isn't enough to keep you together. It's just not. You have to actually want to be together. And there has to be reasons for it. Love, yeah, part of it. But man, you can love somebody you hate being around. You guys have any family members like that? Oh, I love him, but God, if he comes over here, I'm going to punch him in the face. Just saying. It's not easy. And if you think the grass is greener, and this is what this woman's that whether it was an "Am I the asshole" or what, that Reddit post, whatever it was. If you think the grass is greener, you're wrong. In her case, she didn't even find any more grass. She had a couple of dates. He was the one that found greener grass, but he didn't go looking for it. It's just the grass he had turned brown and nasty and left him. You know, the grass isn't always greener. The grass is sometimes the grass is greener. I'll be honest. Sometimes, yeah. Maybe you can trade up. Most of the time that shit doesn't happen. Most of the time you just end up fucking miserable. And then you see something like this, the partner who leaves, unless they already have a relationship lined up, whether it's the man or the woman, the one who leaves ends up, pouring alone, angry at the world. Why did this happen? Because you're stupid. That's why. That's all it is. You're just dumb and you deserve what happened to you. Because you're dumb. Anyhow, the rest of my family is normal. I love most of my family. And the ones that there's none in my family that I live close to that I'm like, if they come near me. But I know some. I do know some. I love you, but you need to go away or I'm going to hurt you. I do believe that a lot of families or a lot of couples need that too. So many couples intertwine their lives so much. You have to have alone time. Whether it's a hobby. For me, before all this happened, it just now and then, like, baby, I need to go play golf. I just need to get away a couple of hours to myself, just me, the deep blue sky, maybe a friend or my brother, somebody who's not my wife. I just need time alone. You're gonna kill me if I stay here. And that's usually what it is, me annoying her, not the other way around. RVA, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear RVA. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great one. I really, really do. Never got into golf above my skill. Oh, I love golf. I'm not great at it. I'm all right. My mom and dad work together. He plays golf twice a week. Without it, they'd probably kill each other. Yeah, you got to have some alone time. And there's nothing wrong with that. So many people think that's a bad thing. Like, oh, we can't have any separate hobby. Yeah, you should have separate hobbies. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to even cross them over a little bit. Like, I've taken Lady Monkey golfing with me, and I would love it if she did it more with me. But I still need some of that time by myself or with a friend or with, like I said, with my brother, because my best friend and my brother were my golf partners. And like, can I call John and just go golfing? I just need a little time. The truth. That feminist $12. The grass may be greener, but it's fertilized with bullshit. Well, there's that too. And think of any couple that you think is idealistic, or this is my ideal version of a couple. I promise you, they have problems you don't understand. That if they told you them, you'd be like, really, you guys seem to always get along so well. Like, no, I'm gonna hit that bitch in the head with a hammer if she says that one more time to me. Yeah. The easiest advice I can give you guys is learn to let shit go. And I know that's not as easy as it sounds, but it is the best and the easiest advice for marriage relationships. Put away your pride and just let shit go. Like, you know what? That is not worth me getting upset about. On the other hand, you still need boundaries. You got to, it's a delicate balance. These are my boundaries. That I don't give a shit about. That's all. Hold on. Are we not supposed to hit him in the head with a hammer? No. You're usually not supposed to hit people with hammers. Shovels. Shovels is where you do it. Don't marry a feminist, absolutely, but let's be honest, most of the feminists won't marry anyway. They're going to end up alone people-wise, but plenty of cats around who are miserable. Like, why can't she find a man? You know, it has always bothered me that there was never a Garfield kind of cartoon where there was a cat living with a crazy cat lady who was just like hated her to death and like, please, can't you find a woman? Because let's be honest, they're going to be lesbians. My ex-husband left for a woman 15 years older, and she somehow has outlived him. Not only did he become her problem, he became her burden at the end of his life. Gods knew what they were doing, what he was doing. Yeah. He left you for somebody 15 years older. That's rare. Typically, the guy doesn't go for an older woman. Monk speaking from experience with a shovel. Hello. Yeah, I mean, I still got in trouble for that, but ever read Garfield minus Garfield? No, I haven't. I didn't even know that was a thing. You know, anyway, somebody brought up Rich Men North of Richmond. What's that guy's name who sings it? Shit. Da, 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 da. I don't have a lot to say about the song. It's a good song. And if you haven't heard it, I said this the other day. It's a very country song. And Oliver Anthony, that's his name. Thank you. Oliver something. I got it. I found it. I thanked myself for finding it. Oliver Anthony. He makes this song, Rich Men North of Richmond. And it's, I mean, a good look at society today, especially being beat down by how these fuckers just like to take our money and destroy our dollar. And it's a good song. And he found like instant fame. And God bless the people who started sharing out his video. I've watched it several times, and I'll have to look that up. Well, Eagle, I have his. I had his YouTube link because you're not on Eagle. Are you on YouTube or sorry on Twitter? Shit, I had it on here somewhere. Nope, I don't have it. Anyway, he did a concert yesterday, and it was a free concert, which he makes a joke at the beginning of it that last year. Oh, if you are on Twitter, I'm just going to throw this in there. I should have thrown it in even if you weren't on there. There you go. You're not subscribing. Don't feel bad. I mean, most people that I am following, I don't see their shit anyway because Twitter's fucked up, but that's a whole different issue. But he does this. It's a free concert that he did because that's just what he normally does. He goes around and he plays these small venues and does it for free. And he goes, last year I played to about 20 people, and there's like 200 people in this crowd. A very small venue. If you couldn't make it, he says he's going to be touring. I don't know where. Hopefully he'll put it up. But yesterday he was joined by Jamie Johnson. Do you guys know who Jamie Johnson is? Jamie Johnson is a singer who had a very popular song called In Color. If you've never listened to it, it's a beautiful fucking song. But again, very country. So if you're not into country, don't go over there and shit on it. Listen to it, but don't be rude. Yeah, Jamie Johnson got up there and they sang one of the stanzas of In Color. And it's fucking great. Fucking awesome. And I'm so glad for this man's success. He didn't go chasing it. He didn't post his titties up on Instagram or anything. He's just a songwriter who put up a song that resonated with people, and it's awesome. That's fucking awesome. He got lots of shout outs from very big accounts, and he's blown the hell up, and he deserves it. I don't know anything else about the guy except for his songs, and his songs are good. So I'm always happy to see something like that. I'm always happy to see somebody blow up without, chasing it. Not that chasing it's bad, but they're just out there doing their thing. And because you can argue that Tom McDonald chased it, and I think Tom McDonald deserves his success. But I really like those stories where it's somebody, they weren't even looking for it, and bam. There's about 11 million reactions to it. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's a really good song. It's a really good song. Okay. I did see this guy. I haven't listened to the song. Check it out, Eagle. I think the top, is it the top one? He posted, it was 11 hours ago. I was not paying attention. Here is his Rumble. Hang on. He posted the entire concert. Here we go. If you want to watch it, there you go. I will probably be watching that later today. I got the little one coming over in a little while. So let's see, what time is it? I got about an hour before she gets here. Should I just talk for the next hour? I have nothing else to do right now. I wonder what Monk would think of Death Grips, an experimental hip hop group. MC Ride, Zach Hill, and Andy Moraine, probably. It's something I'd have to check out offline, but I will try to remember. Tom chased and caught it. Yeah, he did, and good for him, man. I really wish. I mean, what's that guy's name? Something Calhoun. I'm just not as big a fan of him as I am of Tom, and the last two songs that have come out have had the two of them together, one on Tom's channel and one on, is it Adam Calhoun? And they're both good songs. I prefer Tom either by himself or with Dax. Could always make Lady Monkey breakfast in bed. Lady Monkey's not here right now. She's not home at the moment. She left me, you guys. But she'll be back, so. You going to watch Crowder's stream where he addresses all the rumors? Oh, when's he doing that? I didn't know he did. Adam, yeah, I prefer Tom alone. Yeah, me too. Although I also like him with that fat guy. I always forget that guy. I'm so sorry, dude. But I like him with the fat guy. 10 a.m. Today? No, I can't. Maybe I'll catch the replay and see. I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see what he has to say, especially after he's like, I'm going to make sure all of this comes out, and then fought to have it not come out. We'll see. We'll see. They have a new album coming out. Yeah. Adam and Tom. But what the one is American Flag. What's the one that came out on Adam Calhoun's channel? Is it America? What the fuck? Now I don't remember the name of it. But it's also a good song. I don't hate when they're together. It's just I prefer them alone. Monk, what did you do? I didn't do anything. You're America. Thank you, Nuts. That's the name of the one that's on Adam Calhoun's channel. You are America. Did you guys see that Anthony Oliver, he was #1 download on iTunes? Yeah. Good on that guy, man. His song Richmond, North of Richmond, #1 on iTunes. That's crazy, man. Wish me luck that my mammogram today comes back good. My remaining man boob has been hurting lately. Oh, Moonshock, I do hope it goes well. I really hope it goes well. All the best wishes I have, my friend. Oh man, you plan to go on the AAA meeting in the future, Monk? I don't have any plans to. Some people find greatness, some have greatness thrust upon them. Indeed. I had greatness thrust upon me. It's just that not very many people know it. It's my burden in life. I watched a video last night called Why Do Smart People Smoke? It was an interesting video. It's an old video. It's 3 years old. How did I get to the video? I'm glad I asked. Somebody brought up Taylor Lorenz and how she had gone after Mr. Beast back in 2018. And I forget who it was, but somebody on Twitter said, hey, you want to fill this person in on what a twat she is? And I just went and looked up the video. Fuck, I forget the guy's name now. But where he goes over Taylor Lorenz, and this is all around the time that Mr. Beast article of hers came out, because he's got a history of being homophobic because she's a dirty whore. And it's one of his videos where it was why do smart people smoke? And it's a really interesting. I'm gonna have to look up the science behind it. The idea that's put forth, and there's some science that might be there, is that smoking doesn't have the immediate bad consequences of, or even the immediate impact of harsher drugs, whether it's alcohol, heroin, even marijuana. It doesn't have those harsher effects to it. So you're not even really all that cognizant of it. And there's several studies that show smoking boosts cognitive, I don't want to say ability, but what's the word I'm looking for here? Because ability makes it sound like you get a whole lot smarter, but it's not that. But it helps you focus. It helps you. As I'm smoking a cigarette, I can't function. That might be the right word. Your cognitive function. That's probably the right way to put it. But he's not pushing smoking on anybody. He's actually, what's a good way to help stop smoking? And he points to something I didn't even know about the ridiculous use of heroin in Vietnam. And they were super worried about what to do about all these soldiers who come back who are addicted to heroin. And the war gets over and nothing happens. Everybody comes back, and the vast majority of them never even pick up a needle again. And they were like, why did this happen? And the prevailing theory is that it's because people were removed from the situation where they were doing the heroin. So as much as the physical withdrawal from that is, just being out of there, and not just because it was war, they've done this with other studies to see, but just simply being removed from the situation. And so he eventually gets down to, here's how you might be able to help stop smoking. And it says, remove yourself from the situation. So like, I only smoke in here at the house, unless I'm outside. I don't smoke in any other room. And I play on the computer in here. I listen to music in here, play video games in here. And one way to maybe lessen how much I smoke is to take one of those things, like say playing video games. And instead of doing it in this room, do it in one of the other rooms in the house where I don't smoke. And just slowly move all of the things that you do to somewhere where you don't smoke. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Well, it's still yesterday for me, so I'm doing okay. How are you?
Fucking tired, dude. I only slept about 4 hours.
What is the sleep you speak of?
I went to sleep because the little one's coming over in about an hour, Jack.
Oh.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that I was up and, and me and Jack talked last night. I was planning on doing a show and just nothing was coming to my mind. And eventually told you about 2:00. Like, dude, I got to be up early. I'm just going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I went and I laid down and I fell asleep pretty quickly. And I woke up and I looked at the clock and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I do that a lot.
So she's only going to be here for a few hours. So I'll probably take a nap after she goes home. But at least I got some rest, because if I didn't get any, I would just be, worthless to the poor kid.
Yeah.
How was your evening?
Let me tell you how my day went, because evening is something I'll tell you about offline.
Oh, fair enough.
Let me tell you a little story about my retarded family. So, there was a family gathering on Sunday. I couldn't go because I had plans to do something else. That prearranged stuff that I wasn't about to bail on.
Real quick, as you're telling this story, I'm going to mute my mic because I'm going to refresh my drink, but I am here.
Oh, okay. Hi, Massive. Also, my sister-in-law had to work, so my parents and my bio sister were going to be dog sitting Rico. And I was like, they've done that before, no big deal. My parents took care of Rico while she went on vacation. It shouldn't be a big deal, right? Now, she also was likely going to work late, so she put his dinner in the fridge. So the Keystone cops that are my family did not seem to understand what was happening with the dog food. So when they went to lunch with our extended family, my mom said there was something in the fridge for Jack. Well, she's got aphasia, so she substitutes words all the time.
Gotcha.
So my sister grabs the dog food grabs this bowl out of the refrigerator and takes it with them. So they get over to the house, my aunt's house, and my sister says to my aunt, "Hey, Mom said this is for Jack." And they open it up and look at it, and she said, "Is this cat food?" Nobody owns a cat. Where would? And she's like, "There's like some meat," because I'm talking to her later because I'm trying to find the goddamn dog food, like because I'm going to feed the dog before I go pick her up from work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, "Where's the dog?" And my sister's like, "Well, we I don't know what you're talking about, but let me tell you about this food that Mom made for you." Like, Mom can't even function that way. Like, she can't make stuff. She's had 3 strokes.
Right?
She sits in a chair all day. She can't make things. Her arms don't work that well. She doesn't have access to anything anyway. She can't wheel herself into the kitchen even.
Did anybody eat it?
Oh, no.
Okay.
This is the totally ridiculous part, because Rico likes to eat like greens, right?
Mm-hmm.
They give him a lot of like vegetarian stuff. He eats broccoli, and on top of this cat food was some green beans and some other stuff. And I'm like, the fuck are you idiots doing? Did nobody think about this? Because when I was over there, I know this is a bit convoluted, but it's so enraging to me, but so hilarious at the same time. I'm in the fridge looking for this food, and then I go into the living room and it's like, "Dad, where's Rico's food?" "What are you talking about?" Rico's food. "Oh, you mean the lunch?" "Yeah, I thought it was weird that she gave him a full dinner for lunch." Oh, for Christ's sake. So, how Rico eats. Breakfast, he gets a meal. For lunch, he gets a little baggie of snacks, like some little doggy treat cookies and some ones that smell like delicious bacon, like they smell really freaking good. And then there's like a big dinner, right? It's always the same situation. It's been that way for the 4 years since my brother bought the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thought this was weird. He's got like a little diaper bag where he has like some toys and like a water bottle and some just general dog stuff, right? And she always has a snack in there, his lunch snack. That's where it always put. It's right next to a pee pad. So I go over to the backpack and I look at it. I was like, "Why didn't you guys give him his lunch snack?" "What?" "The snack that he always gets for lunch, because whenever you dog sit him, there's there's meals laid out in advance. She marks them all. I don't know what you're talking about. So I hold up the little baggie of snacks, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I thought it was kind of weird that she gave him a full meal. Like, you keep saying that. Did he eat that food already? Oh yeah, your sister gave it to him." So I fed him this for dinner, and he's looking at me like, what's this bitch? So I'm like, all right, well, he's really hungry. So I gave him I keep a box of milk bones around for when because sometimes he wants more than just a little snack, and I'm an enabler. So
fair enough.
I gave him a big handful of these milk bones too, and a couple of treats. And then I called my sister. I'm like, where's this food? Dad said you gave it to him for lunch. I don't know what you're talking about. But let me tell you, this tells me about this bowl of mush that I was supposed to eat.
Oh my God.
like they're totally unrelated. Thank you, Alan, who says, hello, Jack. Hi, Alan. And I was like, well, you didn't put one and one together? What are you talking about? That was Rico's dinner. Yeah. What? No. No, Mom made that for you. She's going crazy. Like, Mom didn't make that, dummy. Well, it's in a pie tin. What? And I'm like, pie tin? Oh, shit, she's going to want that back. So I call my aunt. And I'm like, did she send over a pie tin with stuff in it? She's like, yeah, there was like cat food and some greens on top of it. I was like, that was Rico's dinner. Oh, dear. It turned out it was in a paper bowl, but that's just what led to me calling somebody else who didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Right.
So and I know this is a convoluted story, but it really irritated me. And I know most people don't even care about this. What's wrong with your sister, Jack? Oh my God. I don't even have time, Eagle. I don't even have time. And they finally all start to slowly figure out that my mom did not concoct this bowl of stuff, that it was in fact Rico's dinner. Because I even described it. I was like, are there like little bits of kibble mixed in with some what looks like wet dog food? And my aunt was like, yeah, oh, this is for Rico, isn't it? I was like, yeah, why would Mom make that for me? And they all just assumed my mom made it. I'm like, did no one think there's 4 households and 1 dog? I don't have a dog. My parents don't have a dog. My aunt and uncle don't have a dog. My sister doesn't have a dog. Where would the cat food come from? Because nobody in those 4 households has a cat either. I'm like, nobody put this together that maybe this is for the dog?
Did they know you weren't coming?
Yes. Yes, they all knew in advance because my sister had to go pick them up and take them over there. The simple fact that my mom said this is for Jack is what sold it as Mom made this for Jack. The woman that's had 3 strokes and substitutes words every time she talks.
And they didn't bring it back?
No, they threw it away. They didn't even give it to Rico.
All right.
That poor dog didn't even get lunch. So that's why he was so hungry when I was over there. He's like, nobody fed me today. What the fuck's going on? You people are all evil. I hate all of you. They said he was being very standoffish with people. And like they gave him a little bit of corn, even though, because he's allowed to eat corn, but generally you get approval for that sort of thing. Sure. So they gave him a little bit of corn off somebody's corn on the cob. And they're like, wait.
Really... The dog was there?
Yeah. Yeah, they were taking the dog because my sister-in-law was supposed to go there, which makes it even worse because the dog's like, what are you guys doing with my food? Why are you throwing that away? That's mine.
All right, that just made it, because I was figuring like they left him at home or something, but they get something that looks like dog food and they have a dog there.
Yes.
And they don't feed it to the dog.
Yes, because they thought it was cat food intended for me, because the person that has a mental illness and a traumatic brain injury is saying that my name instead of the dog's name, because she kept saying, no, it's for Jack. And she meant, no, that's for Rico.
Right.
Because she said, in the fridge is something for Jack. And then when they took it with them and they're talking about it, she's at the table going, no, that's for Jack. And she's trying to say that that's for the dog, but she gets names mixed up because she has aphasia. So she can't express herself. And she's getting frustrated and annoyed. And oh my God, when I talked to my mom about it later that night, she's like, I told them. I know you did, Mom. I know. This 3-ring circus is not your fault.
No, I mean, your mom has been through a lot. And you mentioned, she's had strokes, had major strokes.
Yes.
And so of the 3 adults in the room, not one of them thought to go, do you mean Rico?
Exactly. And what gets me is my parents have watched that dog for like an entire week before, several times. That dog's 5 years old. He's been in the family for 4.5 of those. He was like 9 months when they got him. And they've watched that dog many, many times. And every time she has this consistent pattern, like without fail, paper bowls with the food for him in it, with the foil over it and the date marked for when he's supposed to eat it. Every time. That's his dinner. And I'm like, how did you guys not know? And my dad was like, I just didn't think about that. I don't know. Really, whatever. And I'm if they'd stayed home and not gone to lunch, it would have been in the fridge and he would have given it to him as dinner without fail because he's done it before.
I mean, in fairness, and I don't know your dad, but he's also elderly.
Yes, he's in his late 80s or mid 80s.
The one that I don't get is your sister.
Well, that's what I've said too. I was like, do you have no excuse for this? You're an idiot. And she's like, well, it's only like the 3rd time I've ever like helped with the dog. I'm like, that dog must be really, really nice to you because he could. I'm telling you, if you left these people in charge of the dog and I wasn't there, I'm pretty sure that dog would run the city and he'd be sitting on a throne of bones with a machine gun and a Burger King crown going, this is my town. And my parents back, isn't he adorable? Real quick. Thank you, Cryptic. Man, all this talk about dog. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Well, you're running late, man. It's almost lunch. You better get on that. Thank you, Cryptic.
Couple of things real quick. What's up, Beast? And
hey, Beast.
Jack, I'm going to step away for just a second. I had to refill my drink, and now I need to go empty my bladder.
Yeah, I figured.
I'll be right back.
Hey, Beast Boy. That was the 3-ring circus that is my retarded family. Like, there's how many degrees in this room? How many intelligent people that are normally quite reasonable? And you guys couldn't figure out what a bowl of dog food was. Like, they've helped me mix up the dog food before when we babysat him. It looks like fucking dog food. So poor Rico didn't eat. He just ate all the junk that I gave him. Like literal junk food. Like, here's some dog treats. Here's some milk bones. Your lunch snack that nobody thought to give you. And my sister even admitted that she saw his lunch snack in the bag and didn't think to give it to him. I'm like, you let the dog go hungry? What? Oh, I didn't think he wanted that. He had corn. You gave him like a third of a ear of corn, and you think that's gonna fill that dog up? Thank you, Massive. That's why I'm stressed all the time, Spud. Because apparently I am what's keeping that dog alive. So of course nobody told my sister-in-law this because they'll like the dog and they want to be able to see him again. And she'd be like, "Oh, you try and murder my dog." That's like her kid. The food was yours. Yeah, well, you know what? It does smell kind of good because it has real beef. She gets him the Beneful, the little single servings of Beneful, and mixes it with dry food.
Oh.
And that stuff actually looks really good. It looks sort of like almost like a beef stew kind of thing, like a spread.
I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, technically humans could probably eat it and you'd be all right. Not the dry food, but the beneficial part of it.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, that was what I was dealing with yesterday. It took me seriously 20 minutes to piece this nonsense together when I talked to my sister while I was trying to find out what happened to that food. Because I established early on that they took it to my aunt's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I called my sister first. I should just cut to the chase and went to my aunt. And I was like, where's the dog's food? And she's like, what dog food? And I was like, well, she always makes this thing of dog food. I don't know. And finally, when she started telling me about this food that was for me, I was like, you didn't piece this together? Like, you didn't go dog plus weird looking food equals C?
Nah.
No,
Nope.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. And she got all upset with me. I'm like, oh my God, I am telling our entire audience this story, you fucking idiot. I don't know why you're going to do that. You're so mean to me. Because you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, so that was why I messaged you and was like, my family's retarded.
Oh, those are fun stories, though. No?
Yeah, I'm going to remember that story for 40 years.
Oh, good God.
See, we have this story about my grandma on my mom's side. And one time when I was a teenager, I went over to drop something off, and my cousin was living at the house at the time, and I dropped this package off for her, and she opens it up, and it's a box of laxatives. And she's reading the bottle, and my cousin's standing there, and he's one of those real straight-laced, no sense of humor types. Hi, David. I know you're listening. You secretly love me. He fucking hates me. Won't ever talk to me. So he's standing there like doing I think he was making lunch or something. And she's like, oh, laxatives. And she's looking at the box. She's like, now do you take these in your mouth or do you shove them up your rectum? And I immediately lost my shit because in my teenage brain, I heard, do you take them in your mouth or do you shove them up your rectum? So, of course, I'm like, hee. So I have to leave the room because I'm crying. I'm laughing or trying to suppress this laughter so hard. And he's like, oh, I don't know. Let me check the box. And they're standing there. Nobody thought that was funny but me. And I tell that story about my grandma because she was an unintentional comedian. She would say hilarious shit all the time. But apparently I was the only one that thought it was funny. And that's one of my most cherished memories of my grandmother. But I was like, oh, well, apparently it runs in the family because you're all a fucking bunch of idiots because I compared this to that incident. And my sister got all offended.
Thank you, Cryptic, who says this story is rough. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, my goodness, man. Yeah. I'm just having trouble with not being able to put that together. Because, I mean, there's always misunderstandings out there, right? But usually somebody can piece it together. Oh, A, B, C. There's a dog. It's dog food. How did they get to cat food? Why would there be cat food where your mom could get it?
I don't know. They used to have cats. They had my old cat. I had to give her up, and I gave them to that. I gave her to them, so I wouldn't have to give her to a stranger. And I knew it'd spoil her. Right. That cat died almost 9 years ago. That was the last cat they had. So why would they have 9-year-old cat food? And why would my dad can't drive anymore? I have to go get their groceries. Why would I buy them cat food?
Maybe think your mom jumped in the car and went and grabbed some cat food to bring back to make you a snack.
Apparently, I have their car because
with no cats, I don't get how they got to cat food.
That's what I said to him. Like, where would she get fucking cat food? Well, I thought she still had it from when you had Dobby. Dobby died 9 years ago. 9 years ago. Well, what about that stray? I'm like, why would I give them Lord Floofington's food? I gave it to you, dummy. So yeah, no idea where this mystery cat food would have come from, or where she would have got green beans for that matter, or why she would mix it up and make me a snack. That the fact they thought my mom was crazy over, hey, maybe this is the dog's food.
Yeah.
Like, that says a lot about how they think about my mom. And mom was just, I tried to tell him.
Yeah.
I know you did, Mom. I know.
That had to be frustrating as hell for her.
Oh, yeah, I imagine. Because she kept saying this. She said it multiple times. That's for Jack.
Yeah.
And then they just threw it away. Like, and Rico's sitting there like, you sons of bitches.
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, why is my food in the trash? Why do you all hate me? They said he was real quiet and was sitting on the couch. Like not interacting with them most of the time. And I'm like, yeah, you threw his food in the trash in front of him. He thinks you all hate him. I wondered why he was so excited to see me.
He's like, you got food, right, bro?
Yeah, he's like, you love me, right? You're gonna get me snacks. Man, this dog's really fucking hungry. Hey,
all right, I know you just got here, but we're almost 3 hours in, so I am gonna wrap this up because I do have the baby coming in just under an hour now.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that story.
That's a good story too.
Is it? Because
it is. Well, not if you lived through it, but for those of us who are just laughing along.
Yeah, well, I mean, poor Rico. So
poor
Rico.
I was good.
Oh, and we're not telling my. You're all sworn to secrecy. My sister-in-law on this one, because I'm gonna get him a special snack to make up for it.
Can we get an F in chat for Rico's food? That's how you do that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. Thank you for putting up with me yelling at the top of my lungs at part of this, because god damn, that woman's an idiot. Thank you for the donations. Really do appreciate it. Jack, anything you want to show out?
I'll drop a link to something. But thank you for the donations, and thanks for listening to me rant, you guys. I do appreciate that. This is my therapy session.
I have nothing planned for the rest of the day until a show tonight, which may or may not happen. It's going to depend on how much sleep I end up getting. So don't look for me for the rest of the day. Go watch whatever Jack links. And make sure to go check out that the link in the description for Milkbox TV. Just give them a view. Give them a view. Watch the whole thing if you want to, because remember, we didn't watch the very end of it. But they've been keeping up on this whole Andrew Tate thing really well, and it's a good resource for some of this stuff, as is Murdered by Crayons over there on Twitter.
Yeah, is he still suspended?
Not last I knew.
Oh, okay.
He
got hit with the bot.
He was on there today.
Oh, okay, good.
Thank you guys for the donations. You guys are so very kind to us. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here, even when I'm super late and I'm just bitching.
Have a wonderful day, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
I'm singing a song so I can stop the show. This is your cue to get up and get the